exercise you're going to get me to do. What is it?
One of the exercises is a lullaby. What the user is asked to do is to stroke the screen with their 2 fingers across a bar in the middle of the field. And as they stroke it, they create the melody line of this beautiful lullaby.
So I'm just very slowly, and it feels hard to do it this slowly, going on, and it says I'm going too slow. Oh, now I'm going too fast. Oh, it's quite hard to get it right in the middle. But when I get it in the middle, I should get the lullaby. It's quite soothing, actually. I quite like doing this. Oh, made it go funny. Is that what people say to you, that they find it quite soothing?
They really do. And the hope is that by being moved by this beautiful lullaby composed by Dan Tocano, you will find that optimal rhythm that activates those feel-good receptors in the skin.
Well, best of luck with your app. Thank you so much, Merle Fairhurst, Tiffany Field and Michael Bannacy. So we've learnt that in the right circumstances, done in the right way, touch can relax you, enhance your well-being and even improve your immune function. But what about the touch that isn't done in the right way? In the next episode of Discovery Anatomy of Touch, I'll be looking at unwanted touch. And in Health Check on Wednesday, I'll be back on the BBC World Service looking at the role of touch in healthcare. Today's producer was Geraldine Fitzgerald. I'm on Twitter at Claudia Hammond. And I was wondering about B and Z and whether they still embrace every day when the clock strikes 6.
6 o'clock hug? No, it just pitted out, didn't it?
It did fit out, but I wouldn't do the scheduled hug time again. But I definitely intend to continue hugging V.
I hope that people will continue to be as creative as this couple has been having their programmed hug. I would like to send that message around the world so that everyone would do that. I think it's wonderful.
This is the BBC World Service. Katty Kay and Carlos Watson bring us a new series.
America Decides from the BBC World Service.
I'm Katty Kay.
And I'm Carlos Watson. We're going to be looking at some of the hottest issues facing Americans right now.
Thinking about where America is coming from and where it's going to.
Meeting the game changers and change makers
when Kathy met Carlos.
Monday at 14 and 19 GMT. And at 10:30 GMT, we're in the studio.
Ez Devlin is an artist and stage designer. She's created spectacular shows for the Rio Olympics, Louis Vuitton, and some of the biggest names in music, including Adele, Beyoncé, and The Weeknd. Find out about Ez Devlin's process from the artist herself.
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Coming up on the Arts Hour with me, Nikki Beattie, Oscar-nominated actress Sally Hawkins on the fear of attending her own movie premieres.
They're terrifying. And also watching a film with other people for the first time. I did that once for a cast and crew for Vera Drake and I fainted. So that's because it's so overwhelming.
Hip-hop legend Chuck D tells us about the relevance of Fight the Power 30 years on. Millie Bobby Brown shares her thoughts on playing Enola Holmes, Sherlock's sister. And Nigerian author Oyinkan Braithwaite tells us how she brought humour to her serial killer story.
My characters don't really dwell on the horrors that are going on around them. And I think it was that juxtaposition of light and dark that kind of made it funny, because you think that's not right. They just did this horrific thing. They shouldn't be thinking about pancakes or music, but they do.
All that and music from Baluji Srivastav coming up on the Arts Hour.
BBC News. Hello, I'm Jerry Smith. China has posted very strong trade figures for September, with both exports and imports growing more than expected, suggesting it's recovering well from the coronavirus. Exports from China rose by nearly 10% in September compared to a year earlier, while Chinese imports increased by more than 13%. Here's our business correspondent, Theo Leggett.
China's recovery from the coronavirus outbreak appears to be gathering momentum, even as renewed restrictions start to bite in other regions. Exports have been growing, initially fueled by demand for protective equipment such as gowns and face masks, but more recently by a recovery in orders for consumer goods. Analysts said the steep rise in imports could be partly explained by companies buying technology products before the US imposed restrictions on sales to China. But demand for industrial commodities also picked up, suggesting that investment in infrastructure and property remained strong.
Australia is investigating reports that China, its biggest market, has stopped taking its coal shipments. Industry sources said Beijing had told its energy providers and steel firms to halt purchases, although there's been no official confirmation. This year, China has targeted Australian barley, beef and wine after Canberra called for an independent investigation into the coronavirus outbreak. One of Malaysia's best-known politicians, Anwar Ibrahim, has made a bid to become the country's Prime Minister following months of political uncertainty. Michael Bristow has the details.
The veteran politician Anwar Ibrahim has visited the King to tell him he has the support of a majority of MPs in Parliament. The King, who has the power to appoint a new Prime Minister, will now have to decide what to do next. Mr Anwar has sought the top job for more than 2 decades in a turbulent political career. He's been close before. The current Prime Minister, Muhyiddin Yassin, only took over in March as political alliances shifted. It's not yet clear which man has the most support.
The UN says the world needs to significantly increase funding for early warning systems for extreme weather events. It warns that 1/3 of people globally are not adequately covered. Here's Matt McGrath.
Over the past 5 decades, the world has recorded around 11,000 disasters that can be attributed to weather, climate or water-related hazards. The least developed countries and small island states have been the hardest hit, with around 70% of the 2 million lives lost occurring in the poorest nations. Existing warning systems that could save people and property are inadequate, according to this new report, with just a quarter of weather observation networks in Africa up to the required standard. Without rapid investment, the authors warn,
to assist businesses, but what we have now is a very complicated furlough scheme. The scheme for businesses that are closed provides up to 2/3 of wages, but the scheme that is replacing furlough is a very complicated scheme to operate and doesn't provide sufficient cover. So we have some great resilient businesses in the city. We know that the visitor economy has really grown in our city, but that is going to be severely impacted by the measures that are coming into place.
As you say, Bill, the city centre full of retail and hospitality businesses, and Christmas is crucial to a lot of these businesses. Is a temporary lockdown now a price worth paying if it enables them to be up and running for the crucial Christmas period?
I think perhaps we're too late now for a temporary lockdown. So we have these measures now, which are a lockdown in all but name, and we're praying that this will be sufficient. But we are, as you said, we're 4 weeks away from the opening of the Christmas period, which is vital for our retailers and hospitality, particularly our retailers, because it's during this period that a large portion of their yearly turnover and indeed profit comes during those 6 weeks of Christmas. And to have the city centre closed during this period, it isn't at the moment. And let's remind people that there are still businesses where it is safe to visit. This is all about our businesses investing so they are COVID safe, and it's about those businesses and the people that will come into them recognising the measures that are in place.
Now, Bill, on your website, you've posted a very personal blog, I thought, actually, where you're recalling the dark days of the 1980s and how the city hauled itself up by its bootstraps. Is the revival in Liverpool's fortunes over recent years in danger of being snuffed out by all of this?
Ian, I don't think it's in danger of being snuffed out, but I think it's in danger of that flame being severely impacted. I do remember the 70s and 80s. I worked through both of those periods. Admittedly, in the 70s, only just as I left Polytechnic, but 70s and 80s, we worked through it, and the city has recovered to an incredible level. We are obviously at the top of the league tables in so many ways for the visitor economy, for our hotels, for the way that we are an international destination now. And of course, our football teams play on Saturday, and the league leaders currently will be playing the English champions at the weekend. All great things. Sadly, one table we don't want to be at the top of is the hospital admissions, and we will work hard to remove ourselves from that.
Well, what a shame the fans aren't going to be able to go and see the match in person, Bill, eh?
Tell me about it, Ian. I'm a season ticket holder at Goodison, and it's been a long time since I could say that the league And
right.
yes, and it's Premier League for our city is very important because of the impact it has on restaurants and hotels and bars, taxi drivers. The whole of our economy is so interconnected that when one part of it is closed like this, everybody suffers.
All right. Well, enjoy the match anyway, Bill, and it's good to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian.
Well, despite the local lockdowns, there is speculation that more measures, possibly even a second national lockdown, could be needed as hospitalisations rise, now already at levels seen last when the first lockdown was imposed in March. Well, minutes of a meeting of the Government Scientific Advisory Committee says it has already recommended a so-called circuit breaker lockdown. So let's get reaction at a national level from the Director General of the CBI, Dame Carolyn Fairburn. Carolyn, welcome to you. Now, the last time we spoke, you said it was absolutely imperative that we avoided another national lockdown. Chris Whitty clearly thinks there should be one.
Well, good morning, Ian. I mean, incredibly tough times now. We're seeing these rising infection rates, and it certainly remains true that business is desperate to avoid another national lockdown. But it's also true that we have to get the pandemic under control. Very, very hard times for businesses in these regions. All our thoughts really are on all the efforts they put to make themselves COVID safe. And I've been watching that, the perspex, the routing, the QR codes, and now it's about financial support. It really is about getting the right financial support packages in place. We heard that there may need to be more done, but we're also seeing the replacement furlough scheme, the job support scheme, which we supported and continue to support. It is for recovering businesses. It's for businesses that can be at least partially open. And when you have this severity of lockdown, there are many businesses that are not going to be able to open, and there are going to be some that aren't actually officially covered by the more generous job support scheme, particularly supply chains going into these firms that we think may need more help, particularly, as I say, as we see these jobless figures rise. We've seen the unemployment rate rise today from 4.1% to 4.5%. We've got redundancies now at the highest level since 2009, and protecting jobs remains a really top priority.
Carolyn, you've spoken in the fairly recent past about the need for the government to show its workings, if you like. Was the publication of the Sage Minutes enough for you?
I have to say, this publication of workings of the evidence base behind restrictions is incredibly important, because nothing is more important now than confidence, and the public feeling they have confidence in the measures. And we were concerned, for example, by the 10 p.m. curfew. We didn't understand, and businesses didn't understand the logic behind that. I think we need to see more. The Sage Minutes, I think, we're not epidemiologists, and I think we won't, we don't want to get drawn into the debate around the appropriateness of different health measures. But I think where there are economic measures that are put in place to address health concerns, we want to know why, because that is how you'll get compliance and that's how you'll build confidence. So there is a job of work, we think, for the government to do there.
What about the three-tier system itself? Are you satisfied that that is an appropriate way of dealing with the situation if it avoids a national lockdown again?
We are very supportive of the three-tier traffic light system. Actually, France has 5 tiers. Ontario has 3. It's been proven to be really successful globally. And the reason is that people start to really understand what the tiers mean. So, I know the Canadian system well. They've just moved from tier 2 to tier 3 in Toronto, and everybody knows exactly what that means. Ordinary people understand it. I do think, however, the idea that it can be supplemented by particular local measures, for example, by the metro mayors, is also important, because the outbreaks are different in different parts of the country. In some places, they're about university breakouts. In others, they might be to do with businesses or hospitality. So it is flexibility within a framework. But yes, we think this actually ought to be a big confidence boost around clarity around what different lockdown measures mean for real people.
Now, separately, Carolyn, yesterday you called for a watchdog for the new free ports that the government wants to roll out. Why did you do that?
It was actually a broader call than that, Ian. It was reported as being about Freeport. Actually, it was about, we think trade is an incredibly important lever to get growth coming out of the COVID crisis. But we want it to be growth across the UK. So we are advocating that there should be an office for a trade impact, which measures and understands how investment is being spread across the country to create new jobs when we have our independent trade strategy. Freeports is part of that. We are very keen that they should be multipliers for job creation in their local communities. But it's a really bigger call than that to really get trade working for us as we come out of this pandemic.
All right, Carolyn, we have to leave it there. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Now, the Prime Minister says COVID-19 case and hospitalisation numbers are flashing red. Well, today's unemployment figures that Dame Carolyn just mentioned are starting to light up as a warning for very difficult months ahead in the jobs market. The unemployment rate has jumped and the number of people being made redundant and claiming out-of-work benefits is also growing very steeply. Well, that, of course, was still 2 weeks to go until the furlough scheme finally comes to an end. Well, the unemployment rate for June to August jumped to 4.5%. That was up 0.4% on the previous quarter, and it was the sharpest rise yet since the pandemic. It's up 0.6% from record lows a year ago. Well, the claimant count, which is those claiming out of work and low income benefits like universal credit, is up by 120% since the start of the crisis and now stands at 2.7 million. Redundancies increased sharply as well. There was a record increase of 114,000 to 227,000 from June to August. The number of redundancies, meanwhile, reached its highest level since mid-2009. Well, here to talk about this is Neil Carberry. He's Chief Executive of the Recruitment and Employment Confederation. Neil, welcome to you. I guess this is no surprise given the way that the furlough scheme started to taper away in August.
Yeah, I think it's important that if we were asked to predict what the numbers would say this morning, I think this is roughly what we would be expecting. A really big spike in redundancies, while not quite at the total annual peak that we saw from the great financial crisis, the worst single quarter that we've seen, and an unemployment spike is starting to rise alongside that. I think the ending of furlough is forcing companies to start to make some really tough decisions, especially when they look at the kind of cash flow pressures that they may experience in the first quarter of next year, where we're getting a lot of feedback from companies that say that's a particularly tight point.
Now, the Office for National Statistics, in its commentary, it also notes an increase in the number of people saying they're not actively looking for work. What sort of people are those likely to be, do you think?
Well, there are a few changes, and we saw this certainly during the first lockdown, but in particular, as people restructure their lives around caring responsibilities because they're not going to work and how they work changes, and perhaps they've lost care infrastructures because other people are not working. We're seeing people restructure their lives, but also I think there's a real sense of people wanting to look for work if they feel work is there. And I think confidence, Dame Carolyn was just talking about it, is really important for companies and for job seekers in the labour market. One of the things that we spend most time at the Recruitment and Employment Confederation talking about is there are actually 1.2 million live job ads in the British labour market today. So hiring is taking place, actually much more so now than it was during the first lockdown, and it seems to be holding up even now. So I think there's a real message to say to people, if you are looking for work, it's not a hopeless quest. There are jobs out there.
Absolutely. I mean, that is one of the bright spots in the numbers today. There was a record increase in vacancies during the latest quarter, and also hours worked appears to be rising as well, as you would expect, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, hours work recovering is really about people going back from furlough, so we'd expect that to happen. Vacancies, the ONS's measure is a bit of a lag measure. We measure postings on jobs boards, so what we're seeing today in the official statistics is really what we were beginning to pick up in July and August, and our surveys suggest that temporary recruitment really has recovered quite strongly outside of those most affected sectors like hospitality. Companies feeling confident bring people in to fill demand they see now. Permanent recruitment, a lot slower to take off because firms cannot see the future very clearly at the moment. That's why confidence really matters. But it was definitely in positive territory in September from our data, and we'd expect and hope that even if there is a slight drop back with the current upturn in the virus, that actually it's a pause period on a path of recovery rather than the kind of slowdown we saw in March.
Neil, I just wonder how important and how meaningful an indicator you think the claimant count is these days, given that most people no longer claim just strict jobless benefits, but they've been moved on to universal credit.
So I think that's a really good question, and there's all sorts of challenges in the data right now. I'm a member of the Low Pay Commission, and we typically work with average earnings, and it's kind of difficult to work out average earnings at the moment because so many people were on furlough earlier in the year, and even in today's unemployment data, you see a big change in unemployment driven by the fact that the ONS realised that they were undersurveying people who rent their homes over the summer, and they've corrected that now. And of course, people who rent their homes tend to be lower paid and younger than average, and those people are more likely to have been affected. And the claimant count's the same. We got used to using the claimant count because it measured people who'd signed on for unemployment benefit. We need to remember that many people who are counted in the claimant count now maybe are working in different ways. So I think it's a good headline indicator of the short run effect of people being dislocated, but we shouldn't assume that everyone in the claimant count is unemployed.
All right, Neil Carberry, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining me. Let me run you through some of the other big business stories that are around this morning now. And the power generating company SSE is selling its 2 stakes in 2 waste recycling facilities for £995 million. Well, the shareholdings are in 2 sites at Ferrybridge and Skelton Grange in West Yorkshire, and they're being bought by an infrastructure fund which is run by Australia-based First Sentier investors. SSE said the sale proceeds would go towards the £7.5 billion that it's seeking to invest in low-carbon energy infrastructure over the next 5 years. And Walt Disney has restructured its media and entertainment businesses as it seeks to give more priority to its streaming video services. Under the reorganisation, Disney streaming platforms, which include Disney Plus and Hulu, have been put closer to the centre of the company. It's also separated decision-making over which shows and films should be made from decisions over which platforms are best suited to carry them. Well, still to come on Ian King Live. The pressure on the Chancellor to raise billions of pounds in tax to pay for COVID crisis spending.
Shark strike. Ha! Jellyfish scar. 2 days ago. Veep men. Hair removal cream. Apply. Wait. Remove. Veep men.
Welcome back. Now, unless we are lucky, not a phrase you really want to hear when planning huge tax rises, but it's how the Institute for Fiscal Studies describes its view that the government will need to impose additional taxes of more than £40 billion a year during the middle of this decade. Well, the widely respected independent body says the economy will probably be 5% smaller in 4 years' time than it would have been without the pandemic, hitting the public finances by £100 billion. The IFS also thinks that our national debt will hit 110% of UK GDP. I spoke to the IFS director, Paul Johnson, a little earlier.
5% is the central scenario, but actually already things, even since that scenario was put together, things appear to have got a bit worse, certainly in terms of the economy this year, and the economy could certainly end up significantly more than 5% smaller than forecast by 2024. We certainly could be looking at 7 or 8% smaller. I mean, these are really quite substantial changes relative to just 6 or so months ago, particularly since they are created by what we would hope is a short-term one-off impact of the virus. But of course, the scale of that will depend to a large extent on two things. First, how long does the virus hang around, and how long before we get back to something like normal? And secondly, what is the degree of scarring effects on both the number of businesses that stay in business, the number of employees who stay in work, and of course on levels of investment.
And the scarring, as you put it, is going to be around for a long time. I mean, even if 3/4 of the extra COVID-related spending ends at the end of this year, public spending and borrowing accordingly is still going to be about £20 billion higher in today's money by the middle of the decade.
Yes, I mean the big impact in the middle of the decade will be on the public finances will probably be from the economy being smaller, but there are going to be continued, I think, pressures on public spending. I mean, there's bound to be pressures for more spending on health, if only for things like track and trace and PPE, but almost certainly more than that. We've got pressures on the welfare budget, the $9 billion or so of increased spending to increase benefits this year. I can't see those all going away. There'll be increased pressures on social care and possibly education as well. So I think we're going to see not only a smaller economy, but probably a bigger set of public spending than we were planning 6 or so months ago.
What would you say to someone who says, well, it doesn't really matter how much we spend because interest rates are so low, the government can borrow very, very cheaply?
Well, at the moment, I think that's broadly right. I mean, we're going to be borrowing probably something in the order of £350 billion this year, the most we've ever borrowed in any year.
After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there! Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clemens, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Listen to Reverend David Peterson. And you have to listen. Your spouse can leave you. Your friends can leave you. Your family can leave you. Your next door neighbor will talk about you. But God will never leave you. This and every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m. on the Led by the Spirit program on Starr Radio UK.
Hello, lovely listeners. Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Starr Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
During the time of lockdown, we recognise that young people among us could be vulnerable and subject to abuse. This is why Amacares, an organisation that advocates against child sexual abuse, is here to assist the vulnerable amongst us. We have lined up an exciting and educative programmes that can be of help to you. Please check out our website on www.amacares.org for updates of programme. Enjoy a live chat with our team members for advice. Our online counsellors are also available to advise you and signpost you to the right governmental departments. You can reach us on 033 01 33 2415 or email us at info@amacares.org. Confidentiality is key. Thank you.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harrison, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We call them London for home. For here, we call them London.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you're listening to Starr Radio Show.
good morning and welcome to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Today is Tuesday, the 13th day of the 10th month in the year 2020. And as we say, in the year of our Lord. Of course, a Tuesday morning, time now 10:35 BST. And it is the Tuesday edition of the morning show with me, Archie. And I say a massive welcome to the program. By my normal salutation. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Now, those of you on other planets as well, tonight exactly at 1 a.m. BST, you want to see the red planet in its full view in London, you can do so. So we say good morning to you or hello to you on other planets as well. We want to welcome you all to the greatest program. And let me say morning to my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI. They'll be joining me on the program. Felix, good morning to you all the way in Aberdeen. Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama, good morning. Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, good morning. Dr. Martin, good morning to you. To the wonderful Kwame, bro, to all of you watching and listening to us from other parts of the world. Those of you in the US, Mr. Davidson, Abiosei, John Buama, good morning to you. Hey, to Valentine, good morning. Hope you are doing very well as well. Okie dokie do. All protocol observed. And once again, I say welcome to the show. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, yes, good morning to you, man of God. And thanks for your support all the time. To all presenters of Starr Radio UK, massive good morning. So if it's the first time of listening to us, this is how the program goes. I'll bring you the quote for the day. The weather forecast is going to be following suit, then the travel update. From then we'll go on to look at some of the stories making the rounds. At 11 o'clock we have Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI who will be joining in to bring you updates from Nigeria. Yes, the SARS, though government has decided that the federal government has decided that they are going to disband it. However, 2 people have been shot dead. What more do the demonstrators want? You want to know more about that? Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI will be throwing more light on that. That is at 11 o'clock. Then we'll move on from there, having a look at some of the other stories making the rounds. And exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you have any comments or anything that you want to share with us, put it on our Facebook page, or you can text or WhatsApp us. Our text and WhatsApp number is 07539661744. 07539661744. Just do that and we'll help you out. We'll actually acknowledge whatever things that you are saying. Then at 1 o'clock, the curtains will be brought down for the end of the program. But I want to beg you for one thing. Share, share, share. 10:08 the time. Now the quote for today says what? Your character tells others who you are. Your character tells others who you are. So not the way you dress, not the way you speak or anything of the sort, but the real you will tell others who you are. That's why back home there's a saying that your beauty will take you there, but your character will bring you back. What character are you showing? Well, that is by way of the quote for the day. Ponder over it. Now when it comes to the weather front, you know, autumn is actually here. We're getting into winter as well. A bit chillier than it's been of late. But for those of you in London and the surroundings of England, this is going to be for you. It's going to be an unsettled, dull afternoon in store with some rain likely and some longer, heavy outbreaks possible. It will become drier this evening with skies clearing from east later. Now it's going to be going to have cloud and patchy rain, and that will continue through the evening. But by midnight and into the early hours, it's going to be clear spells. That's going to develop. A few showers are still likely through, though on northeast breeze. My apologies for the mumbling there. But the temperature is going to be 11 degrees. The lower is going to be 8 degrees. UV level is going to be low, pollution is going to be low. Sunset 18:10 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:22 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We take a commercial break, and once we come back, I'll bring you the travel update. Stay tuned and don't go away.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road. Keep your eyes on the road.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Yes, so keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. So we're keeping up, getting our promise up on 10:41 the time, and we bring you the travel update. So what's happening on your travel this morning? Those of you on the underground. So we have Waterloo and City Line that has got planned closures. But other side, all the others good service there. London Overground, TFL Rail, DLR, London Trembling, good service. But continue to keep those eyes on the roads. Yes, on the riverbank this morning, once again, good service throughout. Now let's move on to the National Rail. On the National Rail, Thameslink only has got a special service. The other side, good service throughout as well. Why is it that people are not plying their routes, and that's why we're having good services? But well, something good for our wonderful listeners. But finally, let's look at the major roads in London, and then we'll bring the travel update to a close. Now, on A10, there are closures, A23 closures, A24 closures, A4 closures, Central London Red Routes closures, North Circular A406 closures, and A20 has got serious delays. Now, what is causing the serious delays? Let me tell you quickly, and then we'll bring the update to a close. Traffic is slow moving through the works with delays back to Court Road. Expect delays. It says that eastbound at the junction of Southwood Road, lane 1 of 2 is closed due to emergency. Thames Water works to a burst water main. Southwood Road is closed westbound. So if you can avoid that, please do your best to avoid it. If you are stuck in there, continue to listen to us on Starr Radio UK, because as and when there are any changes, we'll bring it to the fore. But on that note, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019,
forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Listening to Reverend David Peterson, and you have to listen. Your spouse can leave you. Your friends can leave you. Your family can leave you. Your next door neighbor will talk about you. But God will never leave you. This and every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m. on the Led by the Spirit program on Starr Radio UK.
Hello, lovely listeners. Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Starr Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Welcome back to the program. It's now 11 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's go Global Trotting. Let's have a look at some of the stories making the rounds this morning. Of course, I am Archie here. I'm going to be a compare and I'm going to make sure that everything that is making the rounds, I say it all the time, if it's making the rounds, why not? We'll bring it to the fore. Okay, so what's up? Well, from the UK front, science advises a short lockdown weeks ago. But well, you know, there are others who are advocating for us not to be locked down, that just leave us alone, let us live, like Trump is saying. He is now unscathed and now not infected and immune. I don't know how long that immunity is going to last though. So maybe some people are of the view that maybe doing so will help us out. But the thing is, he had been treated or with some cocktails of what drugs, and that has made him what he is now. How many of you can say that, well, if we also get exposed to COVID-19, we will have that same privilege of having all these cocktails used on you? There are people that I know who have died out of COVID, those who have had severe had to go back to hospital, and now they have lungs and some other organ problems in there. So it's not something that I want to downplay it at all. But well, the government took robust action at the time, such as the rule of 6, a cabinet minister said. Do you think that was good enough? Well, there's a spike even here in London now, around what do you call that place? I've forgotten the name. I'll get the name will come. Somewhere here in London, we have people infection rate that is going up, and we have the mayor of that area actually complaining about it. Now, what do you think about what is going on? Do you think the advice that government is giving is one that we have to adhere to? At the other time, Valentine was saying that he thinks that government has to act, but the support that is needed by organizations, by companies, should be one that will help them. He was talking about those in the building and the construction industry, and was complaining about those who are in the clean industry, where they are not getting anything of the sort, not getting the support. Like we had the fellow scheme that is ending end of this month, and a new scheme that is the JSS, the job support scheme. So you ask yourself all those questions, that if we get all those things in place, then should government actually lock everything down? Okay, for maybe call it another couple of weeks, and we know that we would have by that time actually stamped on the COVID tightly, making sure that it's dying. But when it comes to the test and tracing, it's nothing to write home about at all. Whilst in China, they're looking at testing 9 million people in a matter of 5 days. Well, we are still I think trying to get out from where we started from, and we've not actually got out of the tracks. We are still there, waiting. How many people have we tested so far? Well, but it's quite worrying. Some are saying that, well, we should just get on with our lives. But what do you think about it? We'll be bringing you details of it. Now, ethnic minority COVID vaccine volunteers needed. I don't know whether you be interested in doing that. Well, I have a friend, a doctor friend, who told me that we're having a program, and whilst we were questioning him, he did say that, well, he has put his name down for the test, the vaccine test. So I said, kudos to him. He's a doctor, he's a GP, so maybe he knows much, and therefore maybe if he's taking that action, more of us should actually volunteer. But I would say that those who have had the COVID already, volunteer, and that will help us a great deal. Now, researchers want more British people belonging to ethnic minorities to sign up for coronavirus vaccine trials. The large UK studies need diverse groups of volunteers to check if the jobs will work for all population. But of the 270,000 already recruited, only 7% are people belonging to ethnic minorities who are higher risk of complications if they develop COVID-19. It's all because of our beliefs and stuff like that, so people will not want to volunteer. But what do you think about that? Well, Starr Radio UK will bring you more on that. But let me say good morning to Mickey and Philip Molowai, wherever you are. I know you're watching us live from Liberia. Good morning to you. Nelly Quay and Super Mario Kennedy Badio. Good morning to you all. Thank you for joining us. Continue to share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, in other parts of the world, Defiant Trump returns to campaign trail in Florida. President Trump holds a campaign rally less than 2 weeks after testing positive for COVID-19. And he said he's now so immune to the COVID that he could go around kissing all of them. Wow, what a wonderful case. The case of life or the case of death. Well, I don't know how many people would have actually given themselves up for such a case from somebody that you know for sure that he had COVID. But I know sycophants, some of them will do things that you cannot even think about. Now, man gets COVID twice with second hit more severe. And this is where I want us to actually look at. We'll be looking at it in more details. A man in the United States has caught COVID twice, with the second infection becoming far more dangerous than the first. Doctors have reported the 25-year-old needed hospital treatment after his lung could not get enough oxygen into his body. But a study in the Lancet Infectious Disease raises questions about how much immunity can be built up to the virus. The man from Nevada had no known health problems or immune defects that would make him particularly vulnerable to COVID. So, to those of you who think that, well, I've had it, so I won't have it again. Like in this times when you have flu, you might not have flu in the flu season again, and when you have the flu jab. But this is a case where this person had COVID and he's having it the second time, and they say it's so severe, and because of the infections in his lungs now, his lungs cannot actually get enough oxygen, and it's quite worrying. It's quite worrying. But what do you think about all that? Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Ambassador K. Mwengbe. Good morning, Poritha YD Kwena, and then Musu K. G. Kamara. Musu G. Kamara, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. So all of you who are, well, those of you watching us on YouTube and all the other social media platforms, salute you and thank you very much. Now let's move on to some other stories before I bring you my first carefully selected choice of song. We'll be having Ms. OLAYOMI who will be joining in a bit. Now, herd immunity approach will see 800 million infected. Africa CDC says this approach to dealing with COVID-19 will come at a high cost to the continent. So if Africans are thinking of herd immunity, well, that's what the experts are saying. But I'll bring you more details on that. The young protesters who forced the president to back down Nigeria's EndSARS protests gathered momentum online, but burst onto the street to force a change. And I've said the demonstration continues. Lagos is still in a lockdown under curfew, and we will see what is going on that front once we have Ms. OLAYOMI joining in on the program. Starr Radio UK. Okay, Israel unblocks big immigration of Ethiopian Jews. Now, thousands have been waiting in camps to be allowed to settle in Israel for years. Interesting. Well, they are saying that you are not original. You are Solomon's concubines. Yeah. Okay. Well, Starr Radio UK. I know some people will think I'm bashing some other, but well, it's Israel that we're talking about here, man. Okay, Starr Radio UK. Now, moving on to some other stories. Libya leaders to prioritize the country in peace talks. And Amnesty International reports foul play in Tanzanian politics. What's going on? We know Magufuli, I don't know what is causing to change that dramatically or drastically. Amnesty International alleges in a report published on Monday that Tanzanian President John Magufuli's government is actively repressing the political opposition as rapidly passed laws restricting the freedom of expression, peaceful assembly, and association are being weaponized to control and stifle anyone within the population that opposes the current head of state. But what do you think? Now coming to Ghana, Accra floods dissolve inactive works and housing ministry. That's what the minority are saying. This problem has been with us for ages. Everybody comes and promises that we're going to do something about it. But a couple of days ago, the rains, the heavens opened and the rains came down, and the floods is something that is quite worrying. We'll be having a look at that. Can voters now say, well, you didn't fix it, so we're not going to be voting for you because of you we have floods? And can government just take it on the chin, or they're going to also point fingers at the voters, saying that, well, you keep on blocking the waterways with buildings and stuff like that, and therefore you have caused it. But whatever it is, we're going to be looking at it in a detail. MPs cannot continue to die. We need protection. Mensa Bonsu. The leadership of Parliament has renewed calls for immediate police protection, calling on the state to, as a matter of urgency, protect all MPs from further attacks, speaking during a visit to the family. But my question is, but for the fact that it was an MP who was attacked and was murdered, it would have been one of those things. Now, if they make laws, if they make sure our police and our security agencies are working assiduously to see to it that no criminal activities or criminal activities are brought to the barest minimum, do you think that we will need to give them police officers or protection? Everybody will be enjoying that peace of mind. What is causing all this? We'll be having a look at that. But stay tuned. Let's join Frank Edwards, who says in a Believer's Anthem. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned. Don't go away.
is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI should be joining us in a jiffy. So wherever you are, just stay tuned, stay glued to your sets. Don't go away. I'll be having a detailed look at some of the stories. We know that in Nigeria, the SARS, because of the SARS demonstration, that has gone on. Some other people have lost their lives there. We know government has said that, well, we're going to be seeing to address that issue. However, it looks like the protesters don't believe in what government is saying, and therefore they want to go on. But like yesterday we were saying here, once that is being addressed, now they're thinking, what else can we bring onto the table, and what else, and it goes on and on and on. But let me say good morning to It's Zevi Bennett, Ali Kaid Freeman, Belali Cisse, Henry Moses Jr., Betty Lovin, My Life Badu, wonderful name. And then Ellen Lois Williams, Dola Bill Vanny, and Andrew Sewer. Good morning to you, Matthew Bodsey. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Yes, continue to listen to us and continue to share the program with your friends and loved ones. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Now I'm going to bring you some of the other stories making the rounds this morning. So wherever you are, don't go away. We're joined by Mr. Frank Davis in a jiffy. One is all seated and set up. We'll be going to him for his greetings and whatever things that he also wants to share with us. Now, the story is the government scientists and scientific advisors called for a short lockdown in England to halt the spread of COVID-19 last month. Newly released documents show that the experts said an immediate circuit breaker was the best way to control cases at a meeting on the 21st of September. The Community Secretary Robert Jenrick insisted the government had taken robust action that balanced the impact of the economy on the economy. But Labour has described the document as alarming. It comes as the Liverpool region prepares to enter a very high COVID alert level from Wednesday, the highest of a new 3-tier system for coronavirus restrictions in England. And every area will be classified as being on medium, high, or very high alert under the system. It is not clear what the specific criteria is for each alert level. Essex MPs and council leaders have asked to be moved to high level restrictions. But the question is, what does that come with? What financial support does that come with? It is Starr Radio UK. Like I said, I've got Mr. OLAYOMI who are joining, but let me take greetings from Frank, and then we'll go to Yomi for his presentation as well. Frank, good morning to you.
Archie, good morning, and good morning to our listeners. OLAYOMI, good morning. Our viewers, wherever you are, we welcome you once again to Starr Radio Morning Show, the COVID world.
How are you?
Archie, in this, once we are talking about COVID, being here alone is what I call the grace. So I'm well.
The grace is abundant for him. Okay, that's good. Thank God for the grace to still be alive. Well, I know there's a lot to talk about, but we have Mr. OLAYOMI, so let's switch quickly to him, and then we'll come to the COVID situation before Mr. OLAYOMI brings his update as well. Yomi, good morning.
Very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank. Good morning to all the presenters, and good morning to all our listeners watching or listening to us from around the world. Welcome to Starr Radio UK.
Yes, how are you doing, sir?
Well, as you can see, with the jacket on, even though we are doing the broadcast from just, outside, it indicates that the British weather is falling on us, and this is what makes us so fresh that people back home would also love to come and live here, apart from the social amenities and the other things that we derive from here. But as they say, British weather, where you must have your cup of tea or coffee to keep you going. The view from outside, as you can see, very quiet. It indicates that, majority of the students are back in school, but I am doing very well. Just like Frank says, the longer you are alive, the better it is. Yesterday, 2 people caught up in a straight bullet in Nigeria during the NSAS protest. So as long as we are alive, let us give thanks.
Okay, that's a good one. As long as we are alive, let us give thanks. Mr. OLAYOMI in North London, Mr. Frank Davis in the studio here with me. I'm Archie, and we're going to be bringing you the morning show. So wherever you are, don't go away. But a quick one from you all, gentlemen. The first one is pertaining to the statement that government made, and information coming out that government had instructions or advice from the scientists that, look, there should be a circuit breaker, so lockdown so that we will not have this now. The whole thing is just spiraling out of control. Now, Frank, what do you think about the presentation by the Prime Minister yesterday?
Actually, I think the presentation by the Prime Minister yesterday is something that we welcome. And I think for the first time there have been signs, or there are indications that they are now actively collaborating with the local authorities who govern the local areas as well. And I think again there will be a bit of relief for the financial support, especially to the councils, because the councils are doing everything possible to extract extra money from landlords, especially. If you look at HMO, for instance, if you renting a house and it used to be 5, now if you take MPhil council for that, they've lowered it to 3. So now if you have 3 people in your house, you are to apply for a license, and each license will cost you 150. So if you have to, that is again 50% increment on your council tax. That is what practically it means. So if you taking that, you pass it on to what do you call it? The tenant. The tenant. The other thing, when it comes to the issue about timing of the lockdown, I do agree the scientists have a say, they advise, but I think the Prime Minister and the government has an overall view of this situation. At that point in time, if they have gone ahead to lockdown, probably provisions have not been made for people to be able to claim what they call file to claim assistance and other things. It will bring a lot of chaos into the system. So what are the scientists might have an overview from their expertise, their background. The policy makers, have more information. They take this, they have to juggle it with others before a position is arrived at. If not, they will just be running. The scientist said this, let's jump and do this. The scientist said this, let's jump and do it. You might act, and before you realize the welfare system is not ready to support. There's no money to support. The business arm is not ready. So you need to bring all that together and try and find appropriate middle ground for it.
Okay. Let's go to Yomi and let's find out. Yomi, now, what do you think about the Prime Minister's presentation yesterday pertaining to the COVID and the infection that is going on? In London, one of the boroughs are saying that, look, we have too high infection rate, and therefore they should put them on a higher alert. So what do you think?
Well, I think the government is trying to balance in between the running operation of the government and also the running operation of making sure that the members of the public are well kept enough until this COVID is over. When is it going to be over? We don't know yet, because there is not a specific medication that would deal with the problem. So that means every measure that have to be put in place to safeguard everyone is very, very key. Yes, the alarming rate of the second wave of the COVID is something that we have been talking about. When the COVID started at about early at the beginning of this year, around March. Now that the second wave, I believe that we are more well prepared. Like Frank was saying yesterday, the hygiene aspect of it is very, very important. But do we lock down, the whole country again, so that we can save more lives? Listening to some of those businesses that might end up fold up completely, people are going to lose their jobs. So the Prime Minister is kind of trying to balance, some of these issues between the running operation of the government says and also protecting, the members of the public across the country.
Well, listeners, if you are listening to us this morning, this is what is going on in the UK. Do you think that maybe a total lockdown with the 3/4 of the income that people make will help? So that if we are all locked down for maybe a couple of weeks and then we all come out, we know that definitely everybody, virtually have stepped on the neck of the COVID-19, or this time around, knelt on it. Yes, knelt on it to kill it. On the COVID-19. What do you think? But let me say good morning to Chairman Changes Kamara Jr., Rahim Kamara, Lorenzo Prince Boga, Eddie Forden, and Ease Big Man. Good morning to you all. Thank you very much for joining us. But let's go to Yomi now. Now, Yomi, 2 people lost their lives via stray bullets. Now, where did it happen and how did it happen?
Well, the tension doesn't seem to be coming down as well. I've just listened to, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, that was also present at the toll gate of the protest that was happening yesterday, right in Alawusa. As at this morning, it was addressing the protesters, but it doesn't seem that is calming the situation down as they're getting more into that. Where did it happen? One of those that was killed was also a police officer. So it seems whoever must have discharged that is also a police officer. We saw the intense style of this police officer coming out, and likewise another individual that got stuck in the traffic in his vehicle came out to witness what is happening right close to his vehicle, his hand in his pocket, and the bullet came right there and took him down. And they tried to resuscitate him, but I'm sure that couldn't work as well. Quite a lot of tension is taking place across the country. The governor of Rivers State indicated that there will be a total ban of protesting. The government have already banned SARS, but the youth are saying no to that, and there's already ongoing protests taking place in Rivers State. Iwo Road is blocked down, Ibadan is blocked down, the whole part of the southwest, apart from the northern part of the country, where there's not any kind of protest taking place.
Interesting. That's why it brings the debate once again on the table, because people are looking at it that why or how come that the protest is not taking place in the northern part of the country? Is it that they don't have SARS there? They don't have they are not involved in any of the dealings that SARS is dealing with or trying to stamp down, or what? What exactly is happening? Is there SARS in the northern part of the country?
Well, the SARS operates in every part of the 36 states of the country, but it seems the focus of the SARS is more down the south and the southeast of the country. Maybe the good work that they are doing, like they might say, but the people or the youth or Nigerians totally disagree to that, and that is part of why this protest that has been going on now for over 7 days. How long more will it hold is something that, most of the governors are looking into. I was able to also hear from our Royal Majesty, the King of the Royal Majesty, the Oba Adewusi Ogunye, that the Ojaja II, that also spoke through his official, Facebook page and Twitter handle, and I'll be pulling that up of what the Royal Majesty said that has also, gone into, conversation yesterday. And this is what he has to say, yesterday to Nigeria. I take that back again. This movement demands better on your government to do better for you and elevate your standard of living. Do not persecute your advocate. God bless Nigerian youth. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To the men and women of Nigerian police force, be assured that this movement is also for you. We know you are human also, and your reality is as a result of your environment. The NSAS movement has brought nothing but joy to me. Finally, the youth are awake with one voice and a common goal, and that is coming from His Imperial Majesty Alayelua the Arole Odua Olofin Adimula Oni Adeyeye Enitan Babatunde Ogunwusi, the Ojaja II, the Oni of Ife. I will go back straight to you in the studio.
Hold on. Is that the name of the Majesty?
This is not. Yeah, that is the name. Yeah, and this is not the one that people put on top of their portfolio. I'm sure that Frank probably wants to remember. We had one of our guests that wanted to come in and told us that she was a royal princess, only for us to find out that she's got nothing to do with the royal family.
But the pronunciation alone, I thank God that you were there to pronounce it. Because if I was supposed to, I would have massacred it.
That's why they said the summary, Royal Princess of Nigeria.
That's
but
it.
Actually, there's one question you asked, which has to do why protest is not being
going on in the north.
Actually, African politics has a link to tribe and a base of support. And wherever your strongest support comes from, wherever your base comes from, it seems to, even when you are committing murder, want to support you. This protest is seen, and will be seen as the supporters of Buhari as a protest against Buhari, and not in the system, but a protest against Buhari as a person and his government. And therefore do not expect them to support. We've seen it before. Even if you take Ghana, where we're familiar with more, we've seen teachers who go on strike in Accra, in other part of the country, but in Kumasi area, the strongest base of the MPP, the teachers will not go on strike. The former Ashanti Teachers Union, we are not part of the national. Are you getting it? It's all politics that is being played. It's all politics. That gives a room for them to say, oh, it's them. It's because they are against Buhari. That's why. I mean, that's a key explanation to that.
Interesting. Now, but Yomi, what date has government given for the dissolution of this SARS? What date has government given for the dissolution?
Well, the message came out, right after, the protesters, heat up. But I believe that should have happened automatically. But the question a lot of people are saying is, well, I mean, you've ended the SARS, but also maybe now, they still want more. And that is why they're still out there, asking, why the protesters are still ongoing. And the thing is that it's not just happening, in one location. I also saw the video coming out from Ghana, where there's also, the same reason for protest, and they were comparing the well-stationed Ghana police officer that was stationed. There was nobody harassing them, but the question remains is: does my dreadlock mean I'm a yahoo, or does my dressing nice as I am dressed now with my iPhone means that the Metropolitan Police can also harass? The question I've also been put to the former SARS director that I was able to listen to. I'll put that onto us later. Maybe we can upload that. And he says yes. And the question was asked, do you need a court warrant to search somebody's phone? He said, no, we don't need that. We know that in Nigeria, if we see someone driving a 7 million watt naira of car and is not a no man, that means we have the right to search that individual.
But interestingly, if somebody is driving a car, I mean, it's unlike this place where people can tell from maybe your income, and the government, they have all those details. They are able to pick on what is, I mean, and then they think that, okay, you've gotten some money, you've got something, and then we don't know the source of it, and then we can investigate you. But this is the case that if you see me, I go to Lagos, Nigeria now, I go to Lagos, and I start driving. I'm driving a Phantom, okay? Driving, and then the police is going to stop me?
Archie, it does happen in this country. I've been stopped several. I used to get stopped.
Yeah.
I've told you my story before. I used to get stopped, and thank God when I moved from a car like that, I've been now. You don't.
Nobody stops you.
No, nobody stops me. I mean, it's true. The whole thing that the police can stop you if they have a reasonable suspicion. Because we know crime has a way of manifesting itself, and some of these people who flaunt with cars, money, and all of the Instagrams and do all kind of things, what we can call unexplained wealth. You do not know where they get their money from. The police can request to basically conduct a simple search on you. That's why in this country for now they search you. They fill a form, they complete, the police have to justify why
they searched you.
So search alone, I mean searching, they don't necessarily need to go and get a warrant. If they stop you, you stop your car, search you, and they still believe there's something, they can go to court and get a warrant to search your home, premises. So the police are right. They can stop someone on the street reasonably, but not to harass them. That's the difference between harassment and a reasonable search is where the police do get it wrong. They abuse power. They actually infringe on people's right because they think they are in uniform. They can stop you at any time. I mean, even tell you, let's march to the police station. They sit in your car. They've not paid you for sitting.
You want them to pay you?
Yes, because you stopped me. Actually,
and some individuals, sorry to interject there, some individuals have also accused them of police or the SARS rather driving their vehicle to the petrol station and then you fuel it up for them.
That is it.
Wow.
They do it. So at the end of the day, they use their power to abuse. I mean, and I watched a video when they just stop a man in Nigeria, one of these community workers, and he started recording them. The police got angry while he was recording them. One has to go and sit in his car and ask the other one to be recording him, and then started narrating what everybody is false interpretation of what actually took place. Not knowing he was dealing with someone who actually is working with the police closely and gathering evidence as to are you getting me? So the police do that. There was another video on Facebook Live that was streaming in Ghana when a lady was stopped innocently and the police have to force her, let's search this, let's search this, let's search it. I mean, some you see that they're just using that to induce money from you. That is a balance that they're not getting right. They know what to do, but there's an overriding motive which is to extort money from you, and therefore a lot of them will not. There are professional police out there that get it right, but there are also bad ones that see it as what do you call it, an extortion trade, where they have to just extort money from every single motorist out there.
Wow. Listeners, it's Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. With me in the studio, Mr. Frank David, Mr. OLAYOMI KOIKI in North London. But Yomi, how many, from the top of your head, do you know how many people who have been employed in the SARS? How many of them are employed in the SARS? Now that they are going to disband them, that means people are going to be out of jobs, and that is creating more anxiety.
I believe there might be deployed into the force back in different areas. Remember, this was just a special unit that was created out from inside the police as well. But the question is that the reform. I was listening to I think Femi Falana, the senior advocate of Nigeria, and the son is also one of the protesters that is also holding up to Lekki toll gate as well, asking the government to go back to review the reform of 2014. Again, it goes back to some of what should have been dealt with when some of the confab that took place from 2014 that they expect the government to have looked into. Some of these confab dealt with some of these problems that is currently occurring. Should power be devolved back to the state, not giving that access because they might misuse it as well. Some of these things have already been debated, but nothing have yet been looked into as well.
Okay, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. Now let's look at some of the other stories making the rounds, sir.
Well, yeah, very good morning once again. If you've just joined us, this is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, where we are reporting from this morning. We take some of the headline quickly, and then we go back straight into the studio. Labour insists on a strike in Kwara State as the court has stopped action. The story says the Joint Kwara Labour Congress has asked the state workers to commence an industrial action from today, Tuesday, to press for implementation of the new minimum wage. We realize that some of the states cannot afford to pay the new minimum wage. I believe the old minimum wage was about 18,000 naira, but it seems Kwara State is not paying that, and the Labour Congress is not giving. The state government said it had secured an injunction. The state government knew that if that injunction is not coming through, that means the strike will also go ahead and will shut down the whole state.
Allow me, hold on, please. 18,000 a day or a month?
A month.
18,000.
Yeah, naira.
An equivalent of about 28 pounds. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Right.
So that is on that. Let's touch on some of the other headline as well. Also, we have on the headline a Nigerian was named as the finalist for $1 million Global Teacher Prize. While those in Nigeria might not have access to a lot in terms of the adequate support from the government, but this individual has been named as one of the finalists for a $1 million Global Teacher Prize. Also, a former Zamfara senator Anka have died at the age of 70, and like I did mention earlier, a lot of disruption in terms of the protest is having a huge impact on the movement of average Nigerians making their own daily activities. But the protesters have blocked the major road even up to the airport as at yesterday, and that might have a big impact as the country is still recovering. Recently. Also, Buhari assures Okonja Iweala of support to clinch the WTO job. She had a courtesy visit to the presidency yesterday as well. Dangote Refinery and others threatening existing plants, according to OPEC. Let's touch on that story as we open it up. A new refinery capacity expected to come into the stream in Nigeria and other African countries in the next few years may increase pressure on the existing plant on the continent, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries have said. OPEC, in its newly released 2020 World Oil Outlook, estimated the refinery capacity addition between 2020 and 2025 at around 5.2 million barrels per day on the review of announced and planned refinery project. Let's touch more as well, as once again, this is Starr Radio UK. Remember to hit that notification button on so that you can be able to follow us on YouTube. But the best way to listen to us, download all the iOS and the Android so that you can be able to watch and listen to us directly. 2021 budget, MDAs get 20 billion for electricity, according to the local contractor. Equity market extend downtown by 41 billion naira. And don't revert to service reflect tariff, NERC order discos. And we do know that the government is still talking to the trade union and the Labour Congress regarding the hike in electricity tariff. I think there's been another extension on that as well, and we will continue to follow that as well. The Nigerian Port Authority generates 1 trillion revenue in the last 4 years. The Nigerian Port Authority has generated a revenue of 1.2 trillion naira in the space of 3 years under the tenure of the Managing Director Adiza Bala Usman. This according to a tweet posted by the authority by the official handle. I will take one more and come back straight to you in the studio. We're still looking at the business impact. We know the world itself is struggling with the COVID-19, and likewise Nigeria as well. The Central Bank of Nigeria have extended HGMES loan to 14,638 applicants. The Central Bank of Nigeria has said it's extending its agribusiness and small and medium enterprise investment scheme loan to about 14,638 individuals in August. In a communique from the last MPC report, it stated that the agribusiness and small medium enterprise investment scheme intervention has been extended to 14,000, while 250 small medium enterprise business, predominantly the youth, are benefited from the creativity, industry, and finance. It is time that the government helped most of the businesses, just like we are struggling with some of the businesses that will fold up here in UK as well due to COVID-19. I'll come back straight to you in the studio, and then we will review some of those before we bring the broadcast to an end this morning. Starr Radio UK.
Listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 11:37 the time. Now, first of all, let's talk about the new minimum wage that some of the states, I remember early part of this year, some of them were saying that we cannot pay. Now, I look at it and see that when it comes to migration, people will migrate from communities or states that cannot afford to give them what they want and go to other states to see whether they can. And so we have that problem there already. But what is the federal government going to do for these states?
Well, the federal government, might not be able to do much because the revenue coming into the pocket of the federal government have been shrink as the major, foreign exchange that comes in is the crude oil, and that has come down to about $40 per barrel. So the states are now becoming, not unable to, pay those minimum wage. They can't, because some of them are not just, having enough IGR to be able to fund it, and that is the reason why a state like Kwara State, where the Labour Congress are now asking some of their workers in that state to go on a indefinite strike, while the government is trying to take a quick cut action to stop that as well.
Let me go to Frank now. Yeah, okay, Frank.
Actually, I think the states will need to say, I do believe that when there's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a father and you are home, you're a mother, when there's not enough food, you ration what is there.
Yeah.
You do not say you eat all, or you eat, get filled, and whatever is left, if it's not going to be enough for your people, let's chuck some people out of the house. It doesn't happen that way in practical life. I do believe that, look, the states will need to readjust and realign a lot of their budgets. Now, a lot of people take what they do not need from within the system. Look, actually, there's a company I know in Ghana, for instance. The workers over there, some are earning less than 1,000 Ghana cedis a day. Like 1,000 Ghana cedis a month. Do you know what a director of that company is earning? The director gets 30,000 Ghana cedis monthly. They have housing allowance. They have car allowance,
garden allowance,
garden boy
clothing
allowance, clothing allowance. When they sum it up, you're looking at close to a 45,000 Ghana, and this is a company, a private company with a state ownership, a state having about 30%. I'm not going to name the company but these are facts that we know. Okay, so if you want to do, and we know in Nigeria, for instance, the governor's office, if you go into the governor's office and you want to drill down their budget, there are savings, efficient savings that you can get over there.
Yeah.
One policy that I would love to see is the perks that are given, housing allowance, this allowance. Interestingly, those policies were done, we inherited those from our colonial eras, where they used to employ us to work for them, and therefore they paid us. Okay, clothing allowance, we employ someone who was tidying up, ironing our clothes for us, right? Garden boy allowance, we had a gardener over there, driver and all. These people will take those money and don't even employ anyone. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
They don't employ anyone. I would love to see the governors or the people in charge drilling down some of those. If you're going to take what they call it, garden boy allowance, that money should be paid to the garden boy directly through the parks and garden, employ someone to come and tidy your garden, so that you do not accumulate that money and then deprive someone who they've earmarked that thing for. If they can do that, enough can go around. But to tell me that, yes, we know there's not enough anywhere. What efficient savings have they done? The governor, what has he done to even stop their profligate spending? Can the governor cut down the number of cars they have as official cars? Can they do that? How about his deputy? I'm not saying that, but let's see them doing something.
Yeah. We are all in it together.
Let's see them doing something, but they cannot just be loosening their belts, ordering more belts, more holes. Some people even have new belt and then belt extension, and expecting others to go. Hungry. It's not right, actually.
You know, one thing that worries me when it comes to this thing is that this is what fuels corruption. Because if somebody is not earning enough, and has got their families and everything, and they need to see to them, what do they do? Then they find loopholes, and then the corruption just trickles down like that. And so we can never be able to say we brought corruption to the barest minimum. We can't do that.
I think it's sad. Olami, continue.
Well, we're just going to take one or two more from the Twitter as what is happening. Genevieve in G, a very well-known, actress across the globe, not just in Nigeria. We saw a lot of celebrity from outside the country, like Kanye West is also talking on the NSA. And this is a response back to the governor of Rivers State, Governor Nelson Wike. This is what the governor put out 12 hours ago. The Rivers State government hereby wish to inform the general public that all forms of protest have been banned throughout the state. Therefore, all proposed protests under NSAS campaign are hereby prohibited. This is what she has to say in response to that. Your mustache says it all. You could have chosen to be any kind of leader you wanted. You choose to be a dictator. Do you have children? That is a shame. Leaders will be held accountable for every loss of lives, in every loss of innocent life in their state. NSAS now. That is coming from Genevieve. I'm sure a lot of our viewers will know the name as well.
Yeah, Olayomi, just hold on. Actually, this speaks to what we were talking about yesterday. When protest starts and people want to use iron fist to deal with the situation, this is what now these are people with huge following.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People with huge following. In the first place, was the governor the one who started the protest?
No.
Why should they call for it to end?
Yeah. Is not the federal government that we're protesting against?
Even if he wants to call for it to end, there's a different approach to this. You meet the protesters, you dialogue with them.
Yeah.
Let's understand. Let's come to give me your petition. I am going to come a bit of reassurance that you're working on what is happening. But this authoritarian, this thing, if I were the protester, I would double our numbers.
Did you hear what they said? They said that his mustache says it all. I don't know the kind of mustache that he has. Maybe a forest one, massive.
I'll double the protest. Honestly, we should do it in defiance, because it is as a direct result of people like that. That is why these protesters. That's why I keep on saying that if, let's say, Nigerians say we are breaking away, these are some of the leaders who have been in the helm of affairs with this kind of mustaches, that they are more interested in how to shape their mustache than how to make sure that the little boy gets something
to eat. Yeah. Well, Yomi.
Well, we take just one more from the tweet that is taking place in Nigeria. And there's another one that I picked up, and I'll quickly want to touch on that as well. And it just shows that as Nigerians are live on the road protesting, there's also Twitter banter, as we call it as well. And Starr Radio UK is also following some of that as well. This is the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Obafemi Hamzat, on his Twitter handle yesterday, saying The protest must be orderly so that those concerned will get to the salient point of their message. You can't block the road, disrupt free flow of traffic, prevent other people from embarking on their lawful duties, especially the emergency respondent. I'm sure there's an answer for her, or him rather, and this is the answer that came from Lollipop Wife, another Twitter handle. But sir, you blocked the road for your birthday party. The effect on the whole city was felt. Let's keep the same energy, sir. This time around, the roads are blocked because we want to stay alive. Thank you.
I love that.
That's a good one.
I love that.
That's a good one. You did the same for a media issue, your birthday party.
But what is the essence of protest if it's not supposed to have impact? Do you think people should do protest in their bedroom?
They
are doing protest so that people can begin to ask questions. But I'll plead for emergency vehicles. But if it's a governor, if it's a governor that is using the siren, block it.
How will you know? But that's how you know this part riders come through before you say jacket.
No, they know the governor's cars. There are no ambulances. So if it's no ambulance, no. If it's fire, allow them, because a life that you are fighting to protect could be at stake.
And I think the protesters have been very calm as well. I think there was a policeman that was chased, and we could see some of the youth making sure that it was not lynched and any sort of such.
They are not the target. They are not the target. It's the mustaches that are the target.
Okay, Yomi, before we go.
Well, the other doer are saying, should we join this ongoing protest, or should we just leave it ongoing and then watch from behind the scene as well? That is part of the debate, and that will continue later on at 12 p.m. For those that might want to watch that, make sure you follow us as well. Quite a lot of people are following in details of the youth awaking from their conscious mind, asking for good governances. But the Odudu are saying, let us mix it up, or don't mix it up. That has been the conversation in the last 72 hours. While we continue to monitor the situation on ground, I'll be back again same time tomorrow. Don't go away. Make sure you stay tuned on Starr Radio UK, where we continue to give you the best. Nigeria, under pressure, or PTOs, according to Timaya, politician PTOs. All will be known in the next couple of days how long this old drama will play out in the country as the country called Nigeria.
Well, listeners, I got a right song for you, Nigeria.
And I'd like to say a very good morning to my mom. She's also watching right there from our base here in London, in Edmonton, in North London rather. I say good morning to your mother, and to those that are watching us from around the world. Stay tuned on Starr Radio UK. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, thank you very much, Yomi, and I will catch up later.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
I have been compelled to sing to this rhythm after seeing all was gone in.
Okay, enjoy this song from Rasky Mono. It says Under Pressure. The mustaches are under pressure. The big, they're all under pressure. But as Yomi put across, should the other doer and maybe the Biafran people now also movement decide to join in this demonstration that is going on? Wouldn't it, give a different what impact or different understanding of what is going on to get entirely? What do you think about it? You can post it on our Facebook page. It is Starr Radio UK. Enjoy the song. I'll be with you.
a suffer, in a ghetto, in a city, everywhere that me go, me see them. Some are cry, some are die, some are weeping, some are wailing. Everywhere that me go, under pressure we wail, under pressure everybody under pressure, black and white under pressure Europeans under pressure. Can't get no food if you go feel with belly. You too, no have no.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Your favorite Afro-Caribbean radio station in the UK.
Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 9 minutes to the top of the hour, and it's 9 minutes to 12. And of course, it is the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Let me announce the lines opened, and then we'll go on to look at some of the stories. I'll be touching on this story that OLAYOMI just touched on briefly, pertaining to the Dangote refinery. How is it going to impact the continent negatively? We want to have a look at that. And then the unrest that seems to be going on in Ghana as well. The attacks are becoming unbecoming, as someone will put it. But well, in an election year, a couple of months to an election, and Accra floods. Local government system not working, MPP communicator says. And who are the head of the local government? It is already UK. Now, interestingly, the EU have come to rebut the money laundering accusation that was being leveled against the government in Ghana. Well, it says that the European Union says there is no evidence of money laundering in Ghana following the blacklisting of Ghana by the Union in May 2020. Head of the delegation of the EU to Ghana, Ambassador Diana Akonsia, has said. So if it's not that, so what is making the whole bank decide that the whole country, not me, I'm an individual. Maybe I go over my overdraft and they will say, hey, the whole country blacklisted. When they're going into their overdraft so much, they didn't have enough money to be paying their staff, and therefore going over and over and over, and that's what's causing them to actually be blacklisted. We'll have a look at that. But before then, Amnesty International alleges in a report published on Monday that Tanzania President John Magufuli's government is actively repressing the political opposition as rapidly pass laws restricting the freedom of expression. Now, peaceful assembly and association are being weaponized to control and stifle anyone within the population that opposes the current head of state. A tactic that the human rights NGO says has been employed by Magufuli since his election in 2015. Now, concerns also surrounds the questionable 7-day suspension of the ruling party's main political opponents, Tundu Lissu, in early this month. Now, just a few odd weeks before the election on October 28, which will decide whether the current president and Chama Cha Mapinduzi candidate will successfully be voted in by Tanzanians for a second term over Lissu, who hails from the Chadema party. Well, it is already UK. With me in the studio, Mr. Frank Davis, and let me cross over to him. But we wanted to understand that this afternoon, exactly 1:30, we will be bringing you BB Means Business, and today focusing on Black History Month. She'll be bringing you some entrepreneurs in the black community here in the UK. So make a date with us when that program comes on. It's exactly at 1:30. But let me go back to Frank. Now, Frank, interestingly, I did touch on this Magufuli story. Yeah. Now, we have people who come in, and we were all celebrating him. I really like when he came in and he could just walk into a hospital and find out that some of the equipment are broken and say, I'll give you 24 hours, or not even 24 hours, I think I'll give you a week or something. If I come back, and then the next day, the whole thing is fixed.
Yeah.
So we just saw somebody who is going to bring about a change. However, getting to election in election year, in election month, because the 28th they are going for election, and then he is trying to bring in anybody who criticizes him, clipping their wigs, whether clipping their bigs as well, that make them talk. And you ask yourself, what exactly is going on with somebody that we fell in love with?
We practice democracy, but we are not democratically matured. That is one thing. And some of these, our leaders, again, they get power drunk.
Okay.
And they see, once they are elected and they are being held, sometimes they see themselves as ordained to rule and to deliver their people. They see themselves as Moses. That I am the one who has been anointed and appointed at this very point in time to bring my people out of poverty. When it happens that way, Nkrumah was a victim to that. I mean, he fell victim to that, where he got to a point he couldn't take it any longer. Some of those things that went in Nkrumah's way cannot be justified in any way, and I don't think any leader will take them today either. Some of the I don't know why he's gotten to that extent. I'm a bit disappointed. But someone will say, okay, you need strong leaders to be able to achieve some of those goals that they set themselves, or let the citizens decide. I do think that we should act in ways that allow democracy to flourish. Anyone who thinks that they know the best and they don't want and they don't accept criticism, I think will be mistaken. To that, because a democratic process brought you into power. Why do you want to
stifle it?
Yeah, why do you want to do that? That is my worry. But let's just hope that they are able to resolve it.
Now, do you think that, looking at his stature now, do you think that he will accept defeat if it comes his way? Because he's doing everything like Trump. I mean, doing everything just to keep himself in that particular position. Will he accept defeat come the 28th? How many days more? About 15 days more.
From the look of it, it's not going to happen. As to whether he's going to get defeated, that's another question. But will he accept defeat? Actually, we've seen evidence of people's power, and I am very confident that if a defeat is so clear, the people will, rise out to defend it. In fact, people's power has always been there. I recall, and again, I wasn't alive, but I will cite this history again, that in 1951, it was the people's power that brought Nkrumah out of prison. Kwame Nkrumah was imprisoned. He did not step foot to campaign at Odododio, Lejukwere, and those the current Odododio, but then Greater Accra. He didn't step foot to campaign over there, but he won that election hands down against Jacob Ichepi, the late Jacob Ichepi's father, Mr. Lamb. The people's power forced the colonial masters to bring him out of the prison. That is the man they want. So my conviction is that if the people decide that he's the one they want, it will be difficult, or if the oppositions really want, it will be difficult for Magufuli to stay in power.
But another question that rises is that now, if we have people who are ruling with iron hands and are able to deliver and make the lives of the people in their communities good. You take a typical example of Rwanda, where the leader at the moment, people are saying that he's ruling with strong hands, but he is making the environment and everything conducive for you to live. How do we balance that up? Because that's why I come to say that the kind of democracy that we are practicing is not good for us, unless people have different views to that. But what do you think about that?
Actually, there are seasons and there are times for everything. I think the days of iron are almost gone. The early 50s, 60s to 90s, post-information age where we are now, it is going to be difficult for someone, unless the dictators, to want to use that and succeed over a long period of time. Now, you can rule for iron fist, but you must carry the people with you.
Okay.
If you ruling with iron fist and the people are not in support, I'm afraid you actually missing the mark. Again, we'll go back to what South Korea experiment was over 60 years ago. At the time, I mean, they were accusing Nkrumah of ruling of Iron Fist. Nkrumah was carrying the people with him. In fact, had it not been the coup, it would have been very difficult to vote Nkrumah out because Nkrumah had the people with him. Actually, an election CPP even won in Chebi, Dankwa's hometown. Are you getting me? He carried the people with him. Are you getting me? If you look at the issue about General Park, again, he still guided us. He carried the people with him. Jerry Rawlings is a modern example that we can talk of. Rawlings, people accuse him of all whatever he does, but Jerry carried the people with him. I dare say that if today Jerry steps in the ring again that he want to contest, it will be very difficult for him to be defeated against any candidate that we have contesting today. I get me. One, you governing and leading people. So whatever you're doing, if the people are not with you, it doesn't matter whether you are convinced and convicted that this is the best for the country. I'm afraid it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah.
Well, so you have to carry the people with you. If not, then, well, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 2 minutes past the top of the hour at a time. Now let's move on to the story about Dangote's refinery. Now, how is it going to impact the continent negatively?
Yeah, actually, it is not even about. I mean, it was Nigerian perspective. That is why the Dangote issue came in over there. Now, it's more of a positive thing that we should look at. What OPEC is saying is that, look, we're likely to see between 20 this year to the next, we're likely to see a lot of, refineries on the African continent that will result in about 5 million barrels a day, and especially in West Africa where we seems to be struggling. In fact, actually, the East Africans are better than with the West Africans.
Really?
I'll veer off a bit. I told someone that, look, we still import rice into Ghana, and the person was like, "What? We don't do that in Uganda. We don't do that in Uganda. We produce it. That is it." I've just had a video sent to me by from someone that was interviewed on Al Jazeera and other thing having to do with it. And we'll come to that one of these days. Zimbabwe land reform and what the person is doing now, where the government is doing now. So what he's saying is that, look, with this increment, there are a lot of refineries that are inefficient in Africa. Okay? And again, there's a large proportion of the fuel we consume is actually coming from the EU. Now, if we produce a lot of it, in fact, we're going to get to a point where we might have excess. Okay. Negative aspect about the excess capacity. But actually, everyone, when you're building a room, when you're building a house, do you fill your bed?
No. In the bed, you can have, then you are sleeping in some corner.
We must always have excess, right? We must always have strategic excess. You get that is why I've never agreed with governments like the MPP government arguing today that we now have excess energy and therefore they are paying for it. I've always look, you put infrastructure there and the industries take advantage of it. Because of that excess capacity, someone will step in over. Now, could it be the case, or will it get to a point that we might have excess capacity in Africa, and therefore the Asian continent might want those, especially those who are close to Africa, will want to import from us? So it is that excess capacity issue that they are looking at, because whatever we have now, the projects that are ongoing now, should be enough to supply us. Assuming I'm a businessman and I want to go back into it, I want to go and invest in refinery, do I look at it as a very prudent, knowing that we now have a capacity that in 5 years I might start producing excess? But actually for me it's good because there's going to be competition. there's going to be a lot of inefficient plants will be going. The beauty of it is that we're not going to be dependent on the Europeans again, who are going to lose a chunk of the revenue. Are you getting?
Yeah.
One thing we also do know is that whenever an African gets an opportunity to be the only supplier of a commodity, they go for exorbitant prices. When you take that to Ghana, we see the battle between Ghana traders and Nigerian traders. I mean, it's a fact that Ghanaian traders, put their
always hide their prices. Yeah,
hide their
always.
prices far more than Nigeria would do.
Yeah,
or a Chinese would do. Are we going to see that phenomenon? Now, the negative aspect is if we have all this capacity, and therefore governments take decision that we're not going to import, and these corporate bodies that are homegrown will take undue advantage and start hiking their prices, it then will impact on us negative. So it's a fine line that we have to toe. But in all, I think it's a question of government and policy making going forward, how their decisions will impact, whether they want to help the people or they don't want to help the people. If you're going to do a refinery and you're telling me that, okay, Nigeria takes a decision now that they're banning, or what do you call it, they're banning importation of fuel because we now have full capacity. And let's assume full capacity. And let's assume we go by Buhari's logic, who thinks that he doesn't understand why fuel product or petroleum product should be more expensive in Saudi Arabia, where they drill more oil than Nigeria, without telling us what do you call it? Look, here we are being told that 28 pounds a month, Nigerian governments or governors are complaining they cannot pay workers. So if you're going to tell me that you're taking a country where per capita income is over $30,000 an annum, $30,000 an annum, compare it to a country where per capita income is less than $2,000, and therefore tell me that the fuel price in that country should be the same fuel price over there, then you've mixed it. Then you don't know why you are there. You're only looking at figures without looking at people, and that's the problem we've had on the continent. Our leaders have concentrated on one, the figures, two, how much how the figure translates and reflects in their own pockets, and without considering the people those figures are supposed to work on. Yesterday, I mean, for instance, there was an interview of Jempoku, Nana Poku, and she made a comment that resonated with me a lot. One of the criticisms she's gotten is that because she's not an economist, and this is what she said: I am not an economist, but I know the economy.
Of course.
Actually, that for me, that is where we should get to. Our leaders, they might be economists, they might be do they understand the people they are dealing with?
The economy of the people they are dealing with.
You see, do they understand the economy of the people they are dealing with? Are you getting me? Do they understand the economy of someone in Zamfara State who has just come from a peanut farm? Do they have 3 kids to feed? Do they understand that economy? Or they just looking at fuel prices on Dow Jones Stock Exchange? Is that what they're looking at?
Maybe that's what they're looking at. But on the African continent, it's going on. It goes on and on and on and on. Now, Angola's president, Joao Lorenzo, has continued to go after former president Jose Eduardo dos Santos. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Lorenzo estimated that the country lost up to, guess what, 24 billion US dollars under the former administration of President Jose Eduardo dos Santos. According to the president, over half of the figure, that is $13.5 billion, were diverted through fraudulent contracts with state oil company, the Sonangol, one of Angola's leading institutions. And when we finish, we say the white man doesn't like us. The white man is doing everything to destroy us, but you find out that we are considered the artists of our own destruction. What do you think should be done to somebody? 24 billion.
Are you surprised? I mean, if you can find 100 million in someone's bedroom, talk less of what is in his account.
Yeah.
When the country was looking to borrow 10 million to help the health infrastructure, meanwhile he had $100 million in cash in his bedroom. That defines the leaders that we have. Excessive greed.
Well, maybe some revolution will do it, but well, we are in a time of democracy, so may the people's revolution do it. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 11 minutes past the top of the hour. I take you straight to Ghana. There's lots happening there, and I'm going to tell you more about it. Now, dissolve inactive works and housing ministry. That is what the minority is saying, and that pertains to the floods that are taking place in Accra. The minority in parliament is calling for the dissolution of the Works and Housing Ministry over what it says is inactivity since 2017. According to the NDC MPs, the Works and Housing Ministry has failed in discharging its mandate, hence the flooding witnessed in parts of the capital during the weekend. They have questioned the Mason beginning work on the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development project intended to curb flooding in parts of the capital. Now, speaking this morning, ranking member of the Works and Housing Committee, Emmanuel Kwesi Bedra, said government in its entirety has failed in helping end flooding in the capital. Now, the question is, how long has this flooding been going on? I remember when I was a kid, I remember when we had Rollins visiting some of the flood areas. Yeah. Okay, so it's been going on. But how come that now it looks like the people are pointing fingers directly at the government, and especially to the industry, that's the Works and Housing Ministry, that look, you've not done much, and that is what is causing this.
Actually, floods will be with us since the days of Noah. Floods have
that's a good one.
Look, we can't do anything to prevent rains from coming down. What we can do is to minimize the impact, the negative impact of floods. So the question therefore will be, are there things that we could have done to minimize the impact we saw, or the impact that has befallen us? And the answer is equivocally yes. Unequivocally yes. Now the question, have we done those things? No. Why have we not done them? That is where the question is. For instance, if we're supposed to, I'll give a classic example. It might sound political, but that is it. Now, you look at Domekwa-Binyan area, what they call, where the wagon, where an incident did happen. The NDC parliamentary candidate over there was dredging the gutter for fear of winning the hearts and minds of the inhabitants. The DC chief executive, using the power of the state, stopped him. In fact, they took him to court and pressed charges that he did not obtain permission to dredge the gutters.
To dredge the gutters? Yes. That needed dredging.
That needed dredging. The DC didn't dredge it. The MP didn't dredge it. Neither did the government dredge it. When the rains came, the whole neighborhood was flooded. There are videos. The citizens were like, if only it had been dredged, because every year it gets dredged and that place don't get, some areas don't get flooded because of the dredging. Who do you blame? Do you blame the weather, or you blame political decision making? It's politics. Now, Odo River, we sometimes drain.
Yeah.
Did we drain it this year? The answer is no. Why? Political decision. Now, the issue about sanitation, where gutters are blocked. To what extent have we educated ourselves? We know we used to have a monthly cleaning exercise, the National Sanitation Day. What has happened to it? Politically, we stopped it. Could it have helped cleanse some of these gutters to minimize the flooding? That if 3 houses are flooded now, probably could have been one. Actually, there are a lot that we can do as a people, which I think we are not doing. We get to a point where we reduce everything to politics. I get involved in certain debates, and once the issue crops out and you start mentioning MPP and DC, I withdraw. The reason I do that is that the moment you politicize it, the concentration shift from the facts to the issue about NDC. And I'm not here to say, okay, NDC did this, MPP did that. I'm saying there are a lot of things that as a people we could have done. Whether it's NDC or MPP, it is in the inaction of leadership. So if NDC were in power today and they have not done some of this, and we should be ready to tell them that, look, your inactions has worsened the situation. If MPP is in power today and they have failed to act, we should be able to tell them that the Western Housing Minister has failed us, because the gutters that were supposed to be dredged have not been done. Odo River that normally we get dredged have not been done. Why? Those are some of the questions we should be asking them.
Honestly, I don't know, but it's something that is recurrent, and therefore you will know that definitely if we've not done it, and the rains will come. Not that if the rain comes, when the rain comes, you know definitely it's going to come, and it will come, and then it's flooded. And I don't know how those areas are feeling now.
Actually, it's difficult. It's difficult. I've lost something in a flood before. I had a car taken away by flood. It destroyed.
Yeah. The moment it goes into
where it was parked. Yesterday, the first thing I did when I woke up was to call my younger brother. Is the area flooded? And this is going to be my candid advice to all of you. If you're looking to buy property or land in Ghana, this is the best time.
Oh yeah.
This is the best time.
You know which areas are flood proof.
And have a look at the environment. If you listen to what you are in London, you are Europe, you're thinking of buying a property, you're thinking of buying land, this is the time.
Send people there.
Send people around to at least map up the areas that are flooded. If not,
when the sunshine comes. Interesting. I'll make some calls after we finish the program, because yesterday one was on. I had some calls, but now that you said it, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Kwame who is joining in, so let's go to him. Let's hear what he has to say. Hello, Kwame.
Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to Frank and your listeners.
Yes. How are you doing, sir?
Good. And you?
Yeah, doing very, very well by the grace. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Over to you.
I've been following. I like where Frank was going with the flat thing. You see, like he said, it shouldn't be about policies, MPP, NDC, or whatever, CPP. You see, but like I said, I was in Ghana, and I was saying even I wrote in one of our platforms that, look, I'm seeing something new. September, October rain. Something that, because when I was growing up, this time should be Harmattan season or getting to Harmattan season. But now we are having rains in Accra. You see? So when you continue to have these rains continually, then you should expect that there will be flood. Because the water that comes down, all it does is it goes to the soil. Or some are washed into the rivers. You see, those of us, let's take Accra for instance. Those of us who grew up in Accra, we knew before they built this Agbogloshi market and all those places, those areas are like semi-river.
Yeah.
When it rains, the river occupies there. It was a pitches that teams play there, like Stanford, Olympics, and others.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you go there, where they have the IGCC now, it's all waterlogged area.
Mm-hmm.
You see, but now they've built houses and everything there, even churches and stuff like that, and market. You see, so that land is lost for the water. So the only place left now is there for the water to go into the river and wash into the sea. But there's so much the sea can take at a time, or the rivers can take at a time. So there's bound to be an overflow. The amount of water that comes down at a particular time, you see, even if it happens in this country, there will be flood. Which happens in this country. You see, and sometimes they really warn you people that, look, you have to move out.
Yeah.
Because the amount of water they are expecting will be too much for you to contain.
Yeah.
Here I'm talking about this country. So they want you to move out. You see, the same thing is happening in Ghana. Like you said, they have to map up those areas so that when they are expecting such a rain, they want the people that, look, this water, you can't contain it, so you have to move out. Because the waters have to go into the river. And there's so much the river can contain. Because the level of the water in the river will rise. And it will cause a flood. You see, the only thing that I'll blame governments for, especially the town planners, is that such areas, they have to be inspecting the buildings that they put up there and tell the people that, look, because these areas is flood-prone areas, if you are doing a foundation, it has to be this high.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only thing I'll blame the planners for. But to talk about the amount of water that comes down, when we're growing, before CP constructed the Kaneshi Highway to join Malam and stuff like that, that place has always been flooding.
And it's still flooding today. That is
it's still flooding today.
Flooding.
You see, the difference between now and previously is that when it flood, it becomes a river and it will stay in the bare lands that were there before for a long time before it will dry.
Yeah.
But now those lands have been occupied by buildings.
Yeah, the waterways. So
and when they build this kind of let's say the CP roads, they build a gutter which is deep on the road, so it floods, but with time it will subside. You see, that's why today, no matter amount of water we saw that was flooding in this Kasua area or on the road, it has all vanished within the time.
Yes, it was a flash flood. Yeah.
Yes, because we have the gutters now that will run it away. But previously, you see it like the Pombros area.
Yeah.
You see the river on the land. You see, so these are the only thing that I feel is missing. The town planners telling the people building those areas the height that they have to do their foundation because of the risks in that area. Because Accra is a low plain area. You see, so the planners and the people developing the lands have to have some kind of conversation before they put up the buildings. You see, but the amount of water that will come down is with God.
I agree with you there, yeah.
These are the reasons that what we have in Accra. You see, and it will continue because the only thing is that maybe we have to beg God that, when if you want rain to come in Accra, we only need 2 inches. See, we don't.
Who is going to help lead that conversation with God?
Yes, maybe we have to. Our sins have to come down for us to be able to have that conversation. See, so me with the flood, that's my take on it. Because it will continue to come. When you go to Accra at the moment and you look at places like McCarthy Hill and beyond, the hills. Formerly, there were no buildings. Even last week, we were driving around and I was telling my friends that, hey, Charlie, this place is all their buildings. But 3 years ago, this place all our bush. You see, So from there, all this water from the hills will come to the road, to the valley, which is where the road has been made. You see, so we'll continue to have this flood. The only thing that will save us again on this flood is if we are able to get the means to build an underground canals like we have here, where it rains, then it seeks into the canals under the street. You see, until then, this is what is going to happen, because you can't imagine that the number of times I was in Ghana for a month, and the amount of rain that I was experiencing during this time of the year. Normally, we don't get rains in this year, if I'm not lying.
This time of the month,
going to Hamilton. So this fraud, it will continue to come, and I don't think there's anything yet a government can do, and we have to take it out of MPP NDC.
Yeah. I think Kwame, we can minimize the impact. You see, we can do dredging and we can do underground tunneling. If you take the topography of let's take Accra for instance, the drainage of Accra, where the rivers used to be and other things from those what they call Bekai and all those areas. You know, we can do underground tunneling. It's going to be expensive. We need to then do proper gatling, channel some of these into those underground tunnels. You see, like the way the waste that they did from Hammersmith all the way to the, we can do that. That can be done all the way into the sea. It's going to be expensive, but we need to then begin to ask ourselves, over the next 20 years, the loss that we're going to incur, both economic loss, human cost, and anything, how much would that be overall? If we decide to do that
particular project that is going to last for
we did
years,
not plan ahead. We are going to do this, or we need to, because we did not plan ahead to be able to know that this is area you cannot build. We did not plan with the chiefs to know that these lands
you cannot sell this bit, this one here.
This area we can plant vegetation to be able to soak some of the water so that it doesn't drain, it doesn't drain off the surface and other things. We need to ask ourselves, how much do we sink into this to make it feasible? If it's 20, if it is, let's say, 5 billion, what we're going to lose over the next 20 years, looking at how long the project would which one is more? That's the decision we need to do. That's the decision we need to make.
Interesting. Kwame?
Yeah, but that decision, to me, is a decision that has been taken long ago. Because, like I was saying, when you go, we think back. I mean, people who grew up in Accra, and you know the amount of tunneling they did to build the Kaneshi Malam Road.
I remember I was later then.
The gutters, the big, what do they call it? That round thing. That
to create the gutters.
You see how huge they are. Like you can walk inside without bending your. You know, they were huge.
Okay, but Kwame, you see what happened? You see what happened over there? Those waters were linked. Those gutters, I remember, were linked to Odo River. Odo River.
They were what?
They were
linked to the Odo River.
Okay. Now, if you look at where the waters are coming from, we did not link the community into those gutters the way that we linked the road and other. But when the volume of the water is coming
from the communities,
those, I mean, what do you call it, drainages that take water into those huge pipes can only, again, like Kwame explained, take certain amount of water at a time. Are you getting me? Well, the fact is that we are behind. We need to do reverse engineering.
But me, as somebody who tried to observe these things and I've lived in Accra, I think the only problem we have now in Accra is dredging of the Korle Lagoon,
which has to be annually. Then,
no, because actually, if anybody could remember, when we were growing up, there was no islands in the Korle Lagoon.
Yeah, there wasn't. There wasn't.
It was just a river. But now there has been so much debt into it that some parts have grown to become an island. And those ones are the ones blocking the water intake.
Okay.
You see, because the Korle Lagoon was supposed to be like a container or a reservoir for the water.
Yeah.
You see, but because we've not been dredging it, and we let the dirt, everybody throws rubbish into the river and stuff like that, it has become choked. You see, but if we can dredge the Korle Lagoon to have it like in a deep river, like we have the Thames River, I think that was the only thing that will minimize it.
Okay.
Because no amount of canals you build there, they have to lead to somewhere, and that somewhere is going to the river and to the sea. You see, but the rate at which the water comes down per minute, the gutters can suck it straight away. It will take a time. So now we need to have a free flow into the river and to the sea. So we need a bigger reservoir that will quickly be containing it.
Okay.
And that's the Korle Lagoon that is true. You see, until they dredge the Korle Lagoon to have as a huge reservoir in it that can take a lot of water in Accra, there's always going to be a flood.
Okay. Listen, it's Starr Radio UK. Kwame in London, with me in the studio, Mr. Frank Davis. I'm Archie, and we're looking at the flooding that has gone on in Accra. But interestingly, the head of local government service, Dr. Ato Arthur, says paying salaries to assembly members monthly is not feasible. He believes what is more realistic is the introduction of electoral area funds for the assembly members to embark on projects at the local level. Now, we have the MPs, we have the district executives who are all enjoying. Listen, now we are talking about the fact that Kwabenya area, I mean, those areas, we had a parliamentary candidate going to dredge the gutters there and was stopped. Now the thing is, if this assemblyman who is in that particular area has knowing his duty and is being paid, and therefore he knows that this is what I need to see to what is happening on the ground, I need to let the authorities know, that would have turned the whole thing even different from what we are seeing now.
The other thing is, do we have a good reporting system for them? Who do they talk to? Actually, paying assemblymen, I don't think is something that is beyond us. Like the MPs are paid their salaries, and again, we normally will say MPs are not developmental agents.
Yeah.
But actually, let me move from that argument a little bit for the sake of today's discussion. The MPs smuggled into their own budgets developmental funds.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you know they get a portion of the GET fund?
Yeah.
They get a portion of the NHIS
fund. Yeah.
So will it be wrong if citizens then begin to demand from the MP, what have you done for us? The MP Common Fund, what have you done for us? A portion of the District Assembly Common Fund is also given to them. Right? So why do they use the money for? We can channel some of this into the hands of the assemblymen. They can help in data collection.
Yeah.
We set up a system for them. They can, and even property rates can generate more money to pay them. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So I don't understand what he's talking about. Why should some people work for free? Whilst others are over enjoying?
I'll go to Kwame in a moment. Mobolade Barry, good afternoon to you. Bobby Black, it's a thumbs up. Good afternoon to you as well. Kwame, what do you think about this? Do you think that the assemblymen should be paid so that they can do the work very well? After all, they are the ones on the ground, and if they are bringing reports, they will be bringing you the right reports. What do you think?
Actually, you said, do I think assemblymen should be paid for what?
For the work they are doing. To do what?
If somebody is doing a work, why wouldn't you pay him? Because you are telling me they are doing for the work they are doing.
Yeah.
So if somebody is doing work, why wouldn't you pay him?
Okay, that's a good one.
And also, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
You
see? So if you want the people to do their work properly, pay them properly. You see, if we have to write and act a law, district council law or district assembly law, new one, to top up with our constitution to be able to pay them, we should do that. You see, because we don't put people in the helm of affairs and you want them to take decision on people's behalf and you don't pay them. You want them to be thinking part-time and you want to get the benefit of what is possible. Then you the people, you are not serious. You see, but if you want them to do something very well and then help them accountable for the work you want them to do, then they must be enumerated properly. You see, so to me, the way we run things now, we pay some people so hugely and others nothing. Listen, you see, because like they are saying, some people are saying, oh, we'll let them collect data and do this and do that and stuff like that. Look, if you want people to collect data, hire people who has to collect data, establish the place, establish institution that will collect data, because data collection is not a time thing. You see, data collection is part of development of a place. So you can't just say, oh, I'll use these people to collect data. Establish data collecting system that will work.
Okay.
You see, because if these people are supervising things and they are the people politically representing people to run things, they need to be paid so that we can help. They can be held accountable
for what they are doing. Okay.
For what they are doing.
Okay.
But to tell me that, oh, we are just going to pay them few or do this and use them. No. If you want to collect data, let's establish, if we need to collect data and we feel that data will help us develop, then let's establish the unit that collects data and then pay the people as not that we don't have personnel. We have people who have graduated and they are not in work. So if you think that data is it will help you leapfrog your economy, then pay people to do it so that everybody gets rewarded for what they are doing.
Okay. Thank you, Kwame. Listeners, it's Starr Radio UK, 12:37. We've got Felix who has also joined in. Let's see what he also has to say. Felix, good afternoon. Hello, Felix.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Good. I think I'm plodding on.
Okay. I won't say anything else.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. What do you want to say, sir?
In many respects, I agree with what Kwame is saying.
Okay.
That if people are doing work, you got to pay them. And if you pay them well, then you would assume that they will do their work well. And that if you pay, excuse my language, if you pay them below the market, level for whatever their remuneration is, then you don't expect them to get the best. But that would work probably if you live in a normal society. Your country is not a resemblance of what normal society is. The people who are paid very well in your country don't really perform that well. And that's the honest truth about the matter. I don't want to go on about judges and our judicial system that much. But if you're looking at some of the best paid people in our country, and you may not compare it, it's not possible to compare it to justices sitting on the Supreme Court or even the appeals court in the United States. But if you look at our country, for what the country can offer, most of our superior court justices are paid decent sums of money. A lot of these people, they spend most of their working career living in government bungalows. And whether you like the system or not, we've skewed the system in such a way that when these people even retire from service, they even get opportunity to buy some of these bungalows in prestigious locations. Not only in, highly priced places like Accra, but in other regional capitals and even some district capitals. We give them what best the state can offer. Do they perform? That is the question.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with assemblymen being paid, because in our context, assemblymen in many respects are just like the local councillors. We vote here. Now, in this country, local councillors, I don't know about England, but in Scotland, local councillors are not necessarily on salary. They are given something. It's not a salary, but it's something. It's not like a salary where you it will be advertised. You know, the chief executive of Kent County Council is on 100 and something thousand pounds a year, and all the rest of it. It's not like that, but they are paid something for the work that they do. You know, but in our part of the world, people who have been paid very well, have they performed? No. So in a normal society, a lot of the things that Kwame say makes sense. If these people are working, yes, nobody can deny that they are working. You know, even if it's not statutory work, 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 25 hours a week, they have some responsibilities that have been imposed on them as a result of them being elected as representatives for the local areas that they represent. So they have to be given some kind of salary or some kind of remuneration of some sort. But the question is, does it work in our system? If you pay people very well, do they perform? The answer has been, unfortunately, no. You know, so if I tell you that I know what the solution is, I may be telling a lie. Okay. Or certainly I'm telling a lie. But certainly they should be paid. Then I also want to make another point.
Yeah, go.
High salary, much as I agree with Kwame, high salary does not necessarily always means good quality. You know, and if you look at, you find that in these parts of the world, you find that particularly if you look at the people who go and work in the natural sciences, you know, laboratory technicians and scientists and so on and so forth. A lot of these people are not paid that much.
Yeah.
You know, I have friends who did their PhDs in the natural sciences, and most of them are not on standard, shall we say, employee-employer arrangement, as so to speak. A lot of them are even working on project by project basis. So the university employs them for maybe about 2 years, and that research program is finished, and that's about it. Yet these are some of the well-educated people in the world, and their work sometimes benefits society far more than, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but their work benefits society far more than some so-called football star who is on 250 grand a week.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of, I mean, maybe for many years we have appreciated these people and their contributions to society, but recently with all that is going on with COVID and all the rest of it, it's beginning to show that the importance of these people cannot even be measured by the sort of money we pay to them. And all of them, they are not, look, there are a lot of them in most of our universities who are not earning about 50 grand a year. Yes, a lot of them are not. There are people, I don't want to go on and on but to compare professions, but there are people who are working in London in, you know, shops as shop managers and so on and so forth, who are earning sometimes more than somebody with a PhD from some of these institutions who are cracking their brains trying to find out cure or treatment for conditions such as Alzheimer's. Yeah, so sometimes, yes, well, a lot of the things, I'm not disagreeing with Kwame, but I'm just trying to add another point to it, that high salaries do not necessarily mean that the value of work that you are doing it's up there. You know, that's the society we live in now. I mean, it's not my fault. It's not Kwame's fault. It's what we inherited. You know, people with high qualifications that will take you many years to do. That is, even if you have the brain power, you know, to get up there. And some of these people are struggling, and sometimes for them even to hold on to their job, you know, it's not easy, because they are just working on project by project basis. They finish a funding for a project, and if the funding is no longer coming, that's it. You lose your job, you go home, and then you got to start all over again. So these are just additions that I wish to add to Kwame's submission that is made this morning or this afternoon.
Okay. Thank you very much, Felix. Thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Right then. Listeners, Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 1:15. At 1 o'clock, we'll bring the curtains down because we're going to be having career. What did I say? BB means business. BB means business exactly at 1:30. And today she's going to be looking at Black History Month. She's going to bring you some entrepreneurs in the Black community. Who are they going to be? Make sure you join us, and I'll tell you more on that. But we're still going on. I don't know. Is Kwame still there? Hello, Kwame.
Hello.
Yes. Okay. have you there, but I've got Mr. Kofi Ali who has joined in. So let's go to Kofi for his statement, then I'll come back to you, Kwame, please. All right then. Hello, Kofi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing very, very well. And you?
I'm fine. You know, when Kofi calls, he calls with problems.
Yes. So what is Kofi's problem this afternoon? Yes, go on.
You were saying something about democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And you said our democracy is not right, or is bad, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an alternative to what you are saying? Maybe we can learn from you to understand what you think is wrong, and what we can all try to make better, and why we are not making it better. We can all learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because if some of us are saying democracy is like mathematics, and you don't come up to say this is my own mathematics,
mm-hmm.
there is a set standard. You need to be able to live by it and
mm-hmm.
work by it and make success of it. If somebody is then saying that something is wrong with mathematics, rather than saying something is wrong with the people or the person who is trying to do some great work with mathematics,
mm-hmm.
you understand?
Yeah.
Then we need to, then we say, okay, if you say there's an alternative mathematics, let us see it. Then we'll be able to look at our situation and say, okay, given our situation, these are the challenges here, these are challenges there, these are the challenges. So why do you think your own approach will be better than this approach?
Okay, what I meant to say there was that you look at Magufuli in Zambia, and then you're looking at the fact that he, let me put him as an agent of development. He goes places, make sure that things happen. But in order to maintain what he's doing and to get that, he has to virtually clip the wings of his opponents. And I'm asking that's not supposed to be allowed in democracy. True democracy, you don't do that. There should be freedom of speech. But he's clamping down on them. So then maybe if what he is doing is giving us the development that we need, then maybe we need to tweak our democracy to suit something of the sort. So maybe opposition, you can't talk about maybe or criticize government about project that is doing or blah blah blah. That's where I was coming from.
Well, we live in this country, United Kingdom, and I know you agree we live here.
Mm-hmm.
And everything we are doing is what they are also trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a country where you come up, the Prime Minister has to come and say the opposition should not talk. It never happened, because that is what democracy is all about.
Yeah.
The question we need to understand, to me, that is making this system work, regardless whether the Prime Minister likes it or not, or whether the opposition like it or not,
mm-hmm.
is that institutions are working. We live in this country. Who built gutter here? Who built drainage? Is it the central government or the institutions? It's the institutions. The mayor can say, yes, we want to mark roads in London. But the mayor is not coming to mark any road. There are TFL, there is this, there is that. They will all work together in a way. They are institutions that are there, government go, government come.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will then say, okay, this will be done, this. And then you have the scientists, the engineers, everybody on board, and they will come up with the solutions. Can you see? Now, all of them are also controlled by something called the law.
Yeah.
So, then this is where the rule of law comes in. We should ask ourselves, what kind of a country is an MP killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the president is instructing the police to make sure that they catch somebody. Do you really do the police need instruction from the president anytime something happens?
No.
Is the job of the police to be in this country? In fact, they even went after the confidant of the what do you call it, the prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
That Dominic Cummings, and investigated him against the will of the prime minister. In fact, when the prime minister was contesting, you remember they say he beat a woman.
Yeah.
And the police were in his place. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we not asking ourselves, why are our laws not working? We are having flood, and this flood, the question we ask ourselves is, who owns the land on which the flood is happening?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever asked yourself that question before?
Yeah.
The land in the Accra, who owns it?
Maybe there's two. They said there's two who owns it.
Which two? The Queen owns this country. I don't know whether you know that.
Yeah, of course.
The land, but the local government manage the land. They control the land. In fact, the local government own them. The buyers own their land. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
The inland revenue, any amount that will go to the Queen, they have a way of giving by law, which is in our constitution in Ghana. So no chief own any land, no chief sell any land. Chiefs get out of it. That's why we have land registry. All lands are registered. Now, if the AMA own the land, is that not true?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not the job? Who can better say, okay, we need drainage here. This is how we are going to raise the money. This is how we are going to tax. This is what we are going to do. These are the projects. These are the contracts we are going to give. Is that not? Doesn't that make more sense? They are all because they are craft fraud that they have turned it into a political issue. You understand?
Yeah.
NDC was there, it happened. NPP card is happening. And it's happening every day. Who owns the pavement in Accra? Is it the chief? Is it not the AMA?
Yeah.
Who owns all the drainage system in Accra? It's the AMA. You go to Kumasi, it's KMA. That is why they are formed. Like Felix was saying, the assemblymen and all, they are like councillors. They give them something. They have their money. When we draw the budget, what are we doing about the budget? What are the problems that have to be solved? And how did the money get to everywhere where the money is going to be solved? Problem is going to be solved. Can you see what we are saying?
Yeah.
In our own case, we have turned it into something you can't even explain. Like, I think it's Kwame who was suggesting that. Hey, we can create an artificial river to run through Accra. But when you do that, which is the Odo, that was the original plan for the Odo. But because you see, some place like Nima, it's like a valley. Then the gutter is in the middle.
Yeah.
That valley is where you create the drainage. But the plan was even to make it like where you can, when you go to the plan of Rawlings into the sea, it's going to be like a river that you can even have a boat on them. Now people are throwing their waste because there is no organized way of going from house to house with trucks and vans and be removing the waste and be putting them where you need to put them.
Yeah.
Can you see? So all the gutters, everything is blocked. The gutters are open. We need to get them in the underground. Have we got engineers that can do that without going to IMF a while back to go and borrow the money? That will be saved tomorrow. So we need to, do we have the meteorological department in Ghana that Frank or you or me are now becoming the professionals? The job of engineers is what we are not talking about. Can you see where we are coming from?
Yeah.
The politician doesn't need to know anything. The politician, all the politician is telling the people is that when you elect me, I have an idea to make the civil servants work. That is all they are saying. You understand? Yes, we are in the era of private-public partnership, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when law doesn't work, even the private sector, the public sector will not succeed. So we need to go back and sit down and look at our state of the rule of law. Like somebody was saying, judges are finished serving. What do? They want to buy the house where they served. Yeah, have we built more? All their life, these judges, what do? Put people in prison. They never go to prison. No. Their children don't go to prison. Some of them, their children are cocaine addicts. And our radio stations are not coming because radio stations are supposed to be the educational. You understand? They are supposed to educate. Do they even know what they themselves are saying as journalists? Do they know the law they are referring us to? Can you see where we all are in the mess?
Yeah.
I don't know whether you saw it trending yesterday. There was a video of a man who called himself a pastor that was removing the pubic hair of females.
No, it's we found out that it's fake. It's just what call it? A movie, a clip from a
scene,
yeah.
But most importantly, depicts what is happening.
Yeah, in real life.
In real life in the society. So
who said it's a fake?
Oh no, they've said it.
It's a movie scene. It's a movie scene on one of the. I'll send you. I'll let you know the movie, the title of the movie before we finish. But it's a movie scene. But more importantly, it depicts what is happening in some of our church because West is happening. West is happening.
I'm getting confused here. Let's get the facts straight here.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the video we watch, it says a movie?
It's a promotional design.
If it's a movie, let's say assuming it's a movie. Where was the movie? Is it not in Ghana? Because they were speaking Twi. Is that not true?
Yeah.
Assuming it's a movie, is that kind of movie we want our children to be watching? Who are behind the movie? And the freedom we are given is not a freedom to just do anything. What kind of video is this? Assuming it's a movie, what are the people who sat down to organize that kind of movie? Where you have a man?
Kofi, you have to look at it from both ends because we've complained about ills within our society when it comes to what some men of God are doing. And I think that video, highlights exactly the obscene and what I call it, the insanity that goes on within the closed doors of some of these churches. So yes, much as we might want to go after those who acted those movies, I think it speaks to us that this is exactly what, and I dare say that the West is happening in some congregations.
Yes, in as much as I also want to agree with you, if I want to demonstrate to someone that eating human flesh is bad, it means I have to go and get human flesh and start eating it. Raping children is wrong, so I have to go and rape children. I have to show them myself raping so that they will see that it is wrong. And then let us do something here. You see, there are more than 1,000 ways we can be able to pass this message. Do you understand? For example, there was a time Obinim was alleged or accused, and he was taken to police were arrested, isn't it? Because he flogged a member of his congregation in the church. Is that not true?
Yeah.
Good. And so it came out as a video, and there was an effort made on it. And I agree with you, there are so many of these evil things happening that get scot-free. Then we want to raise attention to it. To raise attention to it is that how to do it. There you bring women, everybody can see, and there you are shaving their private part publicly. And you are speaking in a language and insulting people and referring to the Bible where the Bible was justifying it. And they told us it's a film. What kind of a film is that?
The movie titled, what they call it, the movie is titled Pastor Blinks. It was basically premiered on the 16th of December 2009. And yeah, so it's a movie. One of the ladies who actually featured in that movie, PSC as someone gifty, has spoken about it. Basically, they try to depict exactly what people should not take. Yeah, some of those things what people should not, because we go and when you are within the church, some of the things that go on, you out of your mind and you accept everything. When you take yourself, you're looking at it from afar.
Then what exactly went on there?
What exactly went on there?
In as much as I think I agree with where you are coming from. It's a movie, it happened, and this and that, and that is what is happening. Now, when we look at it now, and from what we are saying is that thing is bad, but some people are doing it. What we are not doing here is that we are not trying to see that those people who are the victims, right, are vulnerable. So what we are trying to do now is to show them that it's bad and advise them. What we are failing to do, which is very important, we are failing to understand the role of the state, right? In making sure that everything is by law. In other words, you see, when a person is vulnerable, and you have somebody who is also vulnerable, but stronger than the other one who is vulnerable, what they will be doing is that they'll be using their own understanding of their devices to solve their own understanding of the problem. Maybe some of these women, because they don't have children. Is that not true? And it's happening in the churches or in the mosque or in the shrine, like we have with Trokosi going on in Ghana now. Is it not job of the state on behalf of the law to go into the place and put people there and investigate. That's what they do in this country. Unless we know, in this country, most of what we do or is happening here. And the state is not turning blind to say that, it's a church, it's a mosque, it's spiritual, so we can't be involved. No. They'll find a way of solving that problem because somebody is vulnerable.
Yes.
And the purpose of the law is to give the vulnerable and the able both equal opportunity to live with dignity.
Yeah.
And here we are. If you and I and those who make the film believe it's happening, then the state is the one who is failing. Let us draw this.
The state, that one we are said. No one will argue with that the state has failed when it comes to
regulating religious
but it
bodies.
Then brings the bigger question, and Kwame might want to come in here. Brings the bigger question: should we now start to regulate activities of the church? On our continent alone, we've seen it happen in Rwanda, where you need to meet certain standards. There's no question about whether I've been called by God. In our part of the world, someone go to a chairman comes by, they call themselves bishops. Are you getting me? So the question again is, should we regulate the churches? Over here, they are able to act because churches are regulated.
Yeah.
Remember, sorry, Kwame. Remember, churches are charity.
Yes.
Churches and mosques are charity. Shrines should fall under charity.
Thank you.
And all charity must be registered.
Yeah.
You understand? However, there is also another problem here, and which we can also take a look at. That is, of course, there will be enforcers, those who will go out. If we talk about religion, these people reinventing religion. Okay, we go to this church, but we think the way they are operating is not good enough. So we want to separate and have our own congregation and worship God. Do you understand? Then there will be a problem of when you are separating yourself. Understand, yes, God has called you. Like I have got a woman. Yes, God has given me a woman. But I have to register our relationship. If something goes wrong there and they come in, the pastor will go to jail for 7 years. When you make this a law, you are finished with them. No, you are not saying they shouldn't do it. They should do it, but they should understand there are, because we all agree with the principles of freedom of what? Religion and worship. We all agree with it. But you must do it in a way that will not be harmful to the citizens of the country. Especially because remember, vulnerable people go to church and mosque and then the shrine more than anyone.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So more, they go old people and so on. And there could be people who will be taking advantage.
Kofi, give us one. Kofi, hold on for me one minute. Let's hear what Kwame has to say on this very subject. Kwame, should the churches be regulated, and what's the way forward for our country?
Like Kofi said, you see, every church or every organization, from what it does or something, falls under certain institutions. You see, because in the country, for us not to have anarchy, everything that we do has to be regulated. You see, let me go back a bit. Kofi started by saying something about mathematics. You see, but when you look at life, the mathematics that people propound, like algorithms, you see, is their own theory. You see, they can put measures in that to make their own algorithm. So that kind of thing always favors the way the person propounding it. You see? And these are the things. And also, in the case of Ghana, we are not a federal state. You see, so what happened is that unlike Nigeria, when OLAYOMI was speaking earlier on about the salaries and stuff, different states can have different situations. But in Ghana, for instance, it's not a federal state, so everything comes from central government. So development is started by the central government, not by the district. So that's the problem places like Accra can still have. But coming back to these churches and stuff like that, there's a way for us, for our charity commissioner, to define what is decency. You see, so define what is decency will make them regulate these things properly. Because we can't take a clip or a portion of a film and use it as something to bash the producers of the film. Because at the end of the day, when you watch the full clip, you might realize that the producer was rather trying to educate.
That's what the film was about.
Yeah,
it was about highlighting the ills.
That rather to enforce that evil.
Yeah,
you see, but sometimes people who are in this art environment, they push the bundle to extreme to bring their information or their intentions across. Because if it's not in the extreme, you might not even bother to work.
That is it.
You see, so sometimes there must be excuse. But like Ali was saying, everything that is done. I remember when I finished school, I worked in information service, and where I worked, those days there was this we do film censoring. So cinema that want to show film, maybe if it's an imported film or something, they have to bring it there for the films to be watched and censored and passed before they can show it in the public.
Yeah.
Today, I don't know whether the films that they produce, they go through the same.
They're supposed to. They're supposed to, but I don't know whether it's working. That's the.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is happening is that all these things, like Kofi Ali is saying, has to be controlled. Because if you live in a country and you want to create certain kind of ethos, all these things have to be managed. You see, because people can't just stand up and see. Because even this film that we are talking about, even maybe after watching the whole film, we can say that this film is below decency, so it shouldn't be shown.
Right. Gentlemen, we just about running out. Kofi, last one, then we will go. Just in 3 seconds, then we go.
Sad. In fact, I'm happy we are all singing from the same hymn. Shit. Because, you know, the issue is very, very thorny. You see, I have to make a final position.
Briefly before we leave, because business hours on it. Yeah.
The development of a country is start from the local government.
Yeah.
Most development, because they are directly in touch with the people.
Yeah.
The central government, Ghana is a unitary state, it's not federal.
Yeah.
However, we've created regions and districts. Now, our regions are not active. That's why we don't have any serious position for it.
Yeah.
But at the district level, or you can say AMA level, you understand, at the district level, they are responsible for education.
Yeah.
They are responsible for sanitation. They are responsible for primary health care. These are just the 3 things. But when you go into it, for example, removing waste, there are so many things.
Right, Kofi, all you are saying is that we should let our local system and our governance system, we should get institutions to work. And Kofi would like to say very, very big thank you very much.
Seriously work.
Yeah, we like to thank you so much. Let's continue the conversation tomorrow. Well, we're going to wrap up now and we cross over to the business hour taking place in the next few minutes. Archie.
Yes, thank you very much to Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, to Kwame, to Felix, and to all of you who actually joined in the conversation, to all of you who were on the Facebook transmission as well, Gina Latte, and I've forgotten the name of the others there. Okay, a lot of you there. We salute you all.
Yeah, from Rwanda, Uganda, Linda Favor, all the way from Uganda. Thank you so much for also being part of this, and we'd like to say big thank you. We'll see you on a business hour next.
Yes, so BB Means Business coming your way in the next few minutes. Just stay tuned, don't go away. Let's take this song from Raskimono. It says Under Pressure. Enjoy it, and we see you in a bit. Bye bye for now.